What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a new Madden rebuild series called 0 to 7. What does that mean? Well, we are taking the Detroit Lions, a team with 0 Super Bowl wins, and this video will not end until we get 7 Super Bowl wins, therefore making the Detroit Lions the most successful franchise in the history of the NFL, surpassing teams like the Steelers, like the Patriots, with 6 Super Bowl rings. We are on the hunt for 7. This series is inspired by NBA rebuild YouTuber Sixringsofsteel, who does a series 0 rings to 18 rings. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take some inspiration from his content, aka that's what YouTubers just say when you rip off someone else's idea, and we're going to apply that to the wild world of Madden. I've seen him do some realistic rebuilds on his channel. We all know that's kind of started over here. So it's all about sharing and creating the best content, best rebuild content we possibly can. And I think going from 0 rings to 7 rings is pretty freaking cool. We're starting with the Detroit Lions here, but there are plenty of teams in the NFL who have yet to win a Super Bowl. We have the Titans, Bengals, Browns, Texans, Jags, Chargers, Vikings, Bills, Panthers, Falcons, and Cardinals. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all those teams, but if you guys like this series, I'm sure we could carry on. Let me know in the comment section below what team you'd want to see next. I'm starting to record this on Tuesday morning. I have no idea how long this series is going to take. Hopefully, it's out to you guys here tonight. If not, you guys will be seeing this on Wednesday. Our current roster is the current Detroit Lions team starting the 2023 NFL season. The offensive line looks particularly good. We have Decker, Jonah Jackson, superstar dev Frank Ragnow, Big V, and Sewell, one of the best offensive lines in the conference. Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end out of Iowa, along with Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Marvin Jones Jr., are going to be the primary targets for Jared Goff, who in the year that we simmed got a star dev. And you know what? I think off of the year IRL that Jared Goff had, what do you have, 30 touchdowns to like 9 picks, something like that, made the Pro Bowl. I think he probably should start Madden 24 with a star dev, as there's a little bit of promise right now. So I decided to keep that. I think the only other dev trait that we gained was Frank Ragnow got lineman of the year, and he went from star to a superstar. I think he's one of the best centers in the NFL, so I wasn't too worried about knocking off that dev trait or anything like that. We got a nice backfield here as well. First round pick Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery coming over. And even though Montgomery is an 84 overall, we got to go with the young buck here in Jahmyr Gibbs, the speedster, the electrifying playmaker out of Alabama, receiving back as well. So you might as well loop him in with St. Brown, Williams, Marvin Jones, and Sam Laporta as targets for Jared Goff. Defense needs a little bit more work, but it's still a pretty nice defensive unit led by Aiden Hutchinson in that front 7. Rest of the front 7 probably needs some work. Don't know how many long-term players, unless someone like Alim McNeil or Levi Onwuzurike gets a dev trait. We're probably going to be looking and chasing partners in crime for Aiden Hutchinson for the remainder of this rebuild. We have Houston, Rodrigo, and another first-round pick in Jack Campbell, the very talented linebacker out of Iowa. I think he was like my 15th rated player in the upcoming draft, or last year's draft. And some people thought it was a reach. I did not. I think he's a great player. Even though you may question the value of going linebacker and running back in the first round, I think they got very, very good players. We got Kirby Joseph and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the secondary, along with Emmanuel Mosley, Sutton, and I went with Brian Braids. I just made him a corner for depth chart's sake because he's going to be our slot. So, you know, be it a safety, be it a corner, I say, screw it, we'll put him at corner. It doesn't really matter if he's corner or safety. Either way, he's going to be on the field quite a bit. And I don't think it's going to be that long for us to get our first Super Bowl. The big question is Jared Goff going to be the guy that can lead us to our first Super Bowl, or are we going to have to wait and eventually move on and find a successor and find a stud in the draft? Because that's the challenge in this rebuild. Usually when we do a rebuild, it's a 5-year rebuild. So we can kind of build our roster knowing the fact that after 5 years, we don't have to worry about the salary cap implications. There's going to be a lot more stress because we are not going to be able to win, you know. This could take 10 years. And if it's going to take 10 years, that means we're going to have to draft better. If it takes 10 years, we're going to have to make tougher decisions for who gets contract extensions. And we're going to have to know when we move on from guys. Like, it's going to be very, very difficult. But I think it's going to be, when all is said and done, this is going to be a very fun video. So without further ado, let's get into year 1 as it, you know, I don't think we can get too far ahead of us and start thinking about that 7th Super Bowl win. We're Detroit. We're sitting on 0 Super Bowls as a franchise. Let's just get that first one, and hopefully we get a little bit of a snowball effect. Just before the trade deadline in year 1, we are incredibly underperforming. 0-5. that is our start. We have the 31st ranked offense, 32nd ranked defense. So I think we're in a little bit of a fire sale mode, seeing what kind of draft pick compensation we can acquire ahead of the deadline. First up, we're going to send Josh Reynolds, our wide receiver 3, to the Commanders for a 4th round pick. Next, we're able to send 76 star dev defensive end Romeo Aquara. He's about to be 29 years old, so he's pretty much at his ceiling. Him and a 5th round pick to the New England Patriots for a 3rd round pick. We'll send Alex Anzalone within the division. Pain to do that as a Gator fan, but with Jack Campbell and Rodrigo, those are our primary 2 linebackers. Don't really need a lot of depth right now. You might as well sell while Anzalone's kind of on a sell high. So we're able to send him and a 7th round pick for a 5th round pick. And our final trade, sending depth safety Tracy Walker. Again, another one of those players where if we were more a contender, I'd appreciate the depth, but he's going to be 29 years old, 79, still a nice contributor. So we're going to send Tracy Walker, our 5th round pick this year, and 7th round pick next year to get another 4th round pick for the upcoming draft. Things are not looking better at the midway point. We are 1-7. That is, I thought honestly, like I've done Detroit rebuilds. Detroit can sim good. I have no idea why it's working itself out this way. But it is. So we gotta look at some contracts. First up, we got Riley Patterson, kicker that they traded for in real life. In our sim, he won kicker of the year, so he went up a dev trait. You can always have a nice kicker on the rosters. We'll give him a reasonable 3-year deal. We have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who is an absolute playmaker. Still, I'm not gonna say I'm salty about it. I'm salty about how things evolved for him not signing in Philadelphia. Because Philly wasn't gonna be able to keep everybody. But I think for like the low price that the Lions got him for, I think that's the most upsetting thing, because obviously I was biased because Florida Gators are one of my favorite Gators, and he was awesome on the Eagles last year. But now, you know what? Hey, I don't dislike the Detroit Lions. I like what Dan Campbell's trying to do. Best of luck to GJ. And I think for the remainder of our contracts, that's really the last guy that I want to retain. All right, we have a final game of the season against the 16-0 Kansas City Chiefs. Just want to see if we can deny them success, deny them a record. Play spoiler, we do not, as the Chiefs go and complete the first 17-0 season. Wow. As we try to find positives from a very disappointing 5-12 start, we did have the 6th best passing offense, and us being underperformers yielded us a top 5 pick, on top of the fact that we pretty much own every pick in the 4th round, which we're going to use a lot of those, I think, to trade up. But who knows? Maybe there's going to be a lot of studs, a lot of guys that I really want to try to go get that are going to be in that 3rd, 4th round range. Jared Goff played okay. He played enough, I think, to make us not sell out for a quarterback, unless the quarterback looks like a generational guy in this upcoming draft. 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 picks, Jared Goff. Under 1,000 for Gibbs, but I mean, a decent 1-2 punch. We got 17 vultures there from David Montgomery. We have 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns on 114 catches for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love to see it. 86 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns for Jameson Williams. Love to see it. Even the veteran Marvin Jones getting after it. Solid start for Sam Laporta in his rookie season. 60 catches, 669 and 2. Maybe get Jamar Gibbs a little more involved in the passing game. Wasn't brutal. The rookie Jack Campbell, another 1st rounder, led the team. 129 tackles, 7 TFLs, over 100 for Rodrigo. We have 10 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson. Not much else in terms of supporting cast. Was kind of hoping James Houston would step up, but wasn't the case. 5 picks, Cam Sutton, 2 from GJ. Not bad number, especially Sutton came in over with a pretty expensive contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not too sure if he was going to pan or not. 5 picks will do the job. Mahomes and the 17-0 Chiefs. That is your MVP situation. And of course, in the NFC, what do we got? We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3rd place Offensive Rookie of the Year. We have, Jack Campbell, 4th for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And just kind of burning through here, looking for some Lions. Unfortunately, no Lions win any awards. We now sit here, empty trophy case, still after like 60 years. A lot of work to do this offseason. As far as dev traits gained or lost is concerned, Amon-Ra St. Brown is now a superstar X Factor, which, I mean, he is one of the most underrated skill position players in the NFL. I think some of that is definitely to do with the Houston. Imagine if he was in Kansas City or something like that. He'd be a superstar. So him being an X Factor is awesome. And on the defensive side of the ball, As it relates to dev traits, Sutton on his 5 interceptions gets a star dev. Everything else remains the same. Coming over our roster before free agency, just to trim a little bit of fat, we got Big V. That frees up about $8 million of salary cap, which we definitely are going to want to use sooner than later. And we are going to cash out on David Montgomery. Jump into Detroit over, I think it was a 3-year deal in free agency, coming over from the Chicago Bears. Hit 17 touchdowns, which is good, so let's sell high on him. But I think while that's good that he got 17 touchdowns, I think it's just eating into our development of Jahmyr Gibbs. We clearly want to be our running back 1 as a first-round draft pick. So we're going to sell high to a team that's desperate for a running back. We're going to throw in 2 4th-round picks to get a 3rd-round pick from the Rams, because running backs have absolutely no value. So because we are going an undetermined amount of seasons, I think free agency is one thing that's going to be a little bit reeled back in on, because I don't want to just be handing out money like crazy, because we need to think beyond 5 years, which is usually our time frame. But I still want to be aggressive to improve the team, and I think that 3rd wide receiver spot, getting a Michigan kid in DPJ, to pair that with Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, is the missing piece to complete this offense. This will be an important draft. This is probably going to be our most important draft of this entire rebuild in terms of the sheer amount of picks that we have. When you have that many picks, it's almost like your war chest of trying to trade up. And is there players worth trading up for? We currently have a top 5 pick. Players that are going to be gone. One, we have Nate Colbert, looks like the best quarterback of this year's draft class. AA, B, and he's an S-tier athlete, elite acceleration jumping. So he's probably going to be like 92, 93 speed. Something ridiculous. Doesn't have elite throw power, doesn't have elite key ratings. That is enough for me to be like, maybe we could still wait for our quarterback. Because I mean, you know, if we were playing these games, I might be more inclined to try to get Nate Colbert, because I think he'll be a fun user. But where we're in the sim, you know, ratings trump all. He might only be like a 76, and I don't want to trade a bunch of picks for that. We have Damar Benedict, who looked like he was the best player. That's why you gave him extra scout. He's a top 5 player in the draft. 3 A's and a B. Combine's not the best, not the worst, but not the best. Elite jump and acceleration. That 4.49 is a little scary. The 3-cone 20-yard shuttle, a little scary as well. I'm scared by the dev trait. He could be a guy that's like an 80 overall, but be a normal dev. So I think the fact that, like, our last one, we went for the athlete of the pass rushers. I think pass rush outside Aiden Hutchinson is something I want to look at. We scouted Stockton. I had another pass rusher here that was a pretty decent athlete down here in Randy Jackson, who had the double A's, 6'6", 265. But I think the player that's going to fall into our lap, we don't have to trade, we can just sit there and wait, is speed rusher out of Mississippi State, Terrell McKinley. Don't let the key ratings scare you away. He is an elite athlete. First in the 40-yard dash, second in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle, elite speed, jumping, change of direction, great everything else. This is likely going to be our pick. Wow, Benedict fell. Corner is neat, and the fact that we do have a top, I might, do we go with the better skills or the better athlete? Better athlete usually pans out. I mean, our pass rush and our secondary both need improvement, but I kind of almost just think, when in doubt, you go pass rusher. But this is a big gamble, because if McKinley's only like a star dev, and we're gambling he's something better because he's an athlete, we're going to be looking back at, like, we passed up on a top 5 true talent type player. Like, I know that guy's going to be in the 80s. 79, 78 at the lowest. That's his floor. His ceiling's probably 82. He's just not a good athlete. We'll go pass rusher. When in doubt, go pass rusher. Terrell McKinley, welcome to Detroit. We'll look at that corner's rating when all is said and done at the end of the draft. And with our sheer amount of draft picks, I thought it was worth to try to trade back up. Last pick of the first round, whoever we select, we get that 5th-year option. We send pick 36, 95, and 100, maybe even an overpay to move up and get 32. But I think that 5th-year option, especially long-term salary cap implications, is worth the overpay. The reason why we do that, pause, size queen. I'm sorry, for DBs, we got D. Farley here, first, second round. It might have still been available in the first round. But again, that 5th-year option. Double B, A press, C zone, 6'4", 206, with a 4.41 in the 40. 3-cone 20-yard shuttle, top 5. Ticks a lot of boxes. Don't be normal dev. Let's go. What a hit. Next pick here is to replace Big V on the offensive line. We have Spencer Ruggs, who's kind of standing top right now. It's really between him and Caps, but the fact that we got the double A on Ruggs and one of the A's is not impact blocking makes me feel all right about the fact that his combine's just kind of average. So welcome, likely, a day one starter here in the third round. And I make the cheesy picks when I can. We got our 350-pounder. That's probably going to have 99 strength. Why not, right? Why not? 98 strength, one off. I traded 2 fourth-round picks for future picks. So our final pick of the draft, Caps is still here. It's never bad to go with, BPA. You can never have enough depth on the offensive line. And he ends up making it all of our picks hidden devs. What a draft. As good as a start as you can ask for. Luckily, we did have a lot of premier picks, but I think we even did better. Now, McKinley being a 73, even though we rolled the dev, 73 is a pretty low overall for top 5 pick. Farley trading up in the first round to get a 75 6'4" rookie corner. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. I mean, again, you just play a lot of averages. What are the odds that all of these guys are just star devs? Very unlikely. So hopefully we get a couple Goldie boys in here. Spencer Ruggs, 76 hidden dev lineman in the third round. What a hit. That's like a 7-8 overall point upgrade over what we had last year starting in Big V on a rookie deal. Hamlin, the cheesy nose tackle pick, 73 hidden dev. And then Caps, just clearly BPA left on the board, 72 hidden dev. Now I saw the Commanders drafted the corner we passed on. He fell all the way to 1081 for DeMar Benedict. Now, we said that the dev trait probably wasn't going to be good because he wasn't a great athlete. So I guess we are hoping that he's just a star dev. Okay. And just because we saw what we missed out on, I was really hoping to see something here. I'm seeing nothing there. Now, if they are superstar, they still show up as a question mark. But knowing that we passed, we clearly passed. We thought about it, maybe overthought about it. Clearly passed on an X Factor. Best player, top 5 true talent. I'm almost going to say we need like 2 of these players to be superstars for me to not regret everything that just happened. Midway point of year 2, coming off a very nice butt whooping. Week 10 over divisional rival Chicago Bears, 52. How do we get 52 and not get a player of the week? That's a little disappointing. But we are 4-5. Last place in the division. Definitely not where we want to be as an 85 squad. However, NFC North is competitive. We get 1-2 win streak here. Who knows? We're still in it. We're still in it. We're in a fire sale mode. But let's look at some contracts here that we need to decide. First off, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll start with a player-friendly deal. He can't go anywhere. We need him. He's a big-time part of what we're trying to build here. We have Taylor Decker. I have no issue giving him 2 years. Now, Jared Goff, that's going to be our wait and see for sure. I don't know. 4 years is a big commitment, considering we have definitely underperformed the 2 years that he's been our starting quarterback. So we're going to wait and see if we can go on a run, make the playoffs. Who knows? But as it stands right now, we're going to save our money. At D-tackle, well, we brought in a brand new nose tackle, Hamlin, who was hidden dev, 98 strength, up to 99 strength right now. So I do feel like we could probably retool that defensive tackle room. I don't really want to resign. And honestly, all these guys here are just depth players. So really, it's just a wait and see. Pressure's on. Does Jared Goff want a new contract? Or is he going to hit free agency and likely become a journeyman quarterback? He gets to decide that over the remaining 7 weeks of the season to see if he can make the playoffs or not. And Jared Goff, at the end of year 2, proved to us what we were worried about when we started off. He is not the answer. As we go 5-12, another incredibly disappointing season where, hey, at least we got the 3rd overall. I hope there's a quarterback. I haven't even really looked at the draft class yet. But let's hope there's one there. Let's look real quick to see if there's one there. We got at least 2 top quarterbacks. Is there anything else? How many we got? 3 quarterbacks in the top 5. None of them look amazing off the rip. But we'll do some extra scouting. Probably we'll use our 3 extra scouting on all 3 of these guys. And see if we can find a successor. I mean, there also could be free agency as a potential avenue. But we pretty much put the stipulation on Jared Goff. If you want a contract, make us a playoff contender. And we are bottom dwellers. 3rd worst team in the NFL. So we are going to be moving on from Mr. Goff, who played well. Like, that is not bad. 4,800 yards, 39 touchdowns. Just not a winner. Not a guy that's worth $100 million. We need a guy that's going to elevate this squad. And I don't necessarily know if he's doing that. 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, Jahmyr Gibbs. 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, Jameson Williams. Laporta going over 1,000, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns for St. Brown. 8-4 for DPJ. I mean, this is a damn good offense, man. Like, even if we do decide to draft a quarterback or sign a quarterback in free agency, I mean, Jared Goff didn't play bad. I hate to say that it's on him, but when you're the quarterback, it is on you. And the biggest question is, if you're a quarterback looking for $30, $40 million a year, are you a quarterback that can bring us a Super Bowl? And if the answer is yes, then you pay that quarterback. If not, you don't pay that quarterback. You don't, sign someone like Derek Carr. You don't sign someone like Daniel Jones to ridiculous money. You move on until you find clearly a guy that can bring you a Super Bowl. Aiden Hutchinson played very well, 74 tackles, 16 TFLs, 12.5 sacks. 7 sacks for Terrell McKinley, who the dev trade was good on him. He is a superstar dev. Not quite the X factor that we passed on, but I'm still happy with that. I mean, the argument will always be, would you take a superstar pass rusher or an X factor corner? And I at least think there's a debate to be had on which one of those players is more valuable. So I'm happy with how things kind of worked out, but definitely need more turnovers in the secondary, led by Brian Branch, CJ GJ. Farley was a hidden dev corner, 6'4", only a star dev. So not the best, not the worst is what it is. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Josh Allen. And look, see, he doesn't even make it. Jared Goff doesn't even make it. So, like, those stats are inflated. They're nothing stats, beaten up on bad teams, I assume. Looking at the rest of the awards here for Defensive Rookie of the Year, McKinley comes in at 3. That corner, nowhere to be found. Down there at 8. So our nose tackle and McKinley ahead of him in the Defensive Rookie of the Year race. So feels a little bit better about that. We have Jameson Williams, 3rd best receiver in the conference. We have Aiden Hutchinson, 5th best D lineman in the conference. But 2 years in, man, we're trying to win 7 Super Bowls. We're trying to make some history here. Probably as bad of a start as you could have asked, especially for the fact that we have an 86 overall team, 89 overall offense, and we've been last place, bottom 5 team 2 years straight. Now in our final little window here, we made sure we're not going to Jared Goff. The thing that makes it sting a little bit, he got a superstar dev, but I feel like at 30 years old, does that really matter anyways? Not really. It means he's going to stay in this above average range a little bit longer, but I don't think it's going to help him ascend to put it all together and become a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Look at the rest of the dev traits real quick. Jameson Williams went up to a superstar. Sam Laporta went up to a star. Ruggs and Caps were 2 hidden dev linemen that we drafted, both with star devs. And on the defensive side, McKinley out the box as a superstar. Hamlin emerged as a star dev. Farley emerged as a star dev. And unfortunately, we lost the superstar dev trait on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Number one thing I didn't want to see when I opened free agency is exactly what we're seeing right here, which is Jared Goff is the best available quarterback, looking for $30 million to be a guy that could beat up on bad teams, but still have you lead your team to bottom 5 record. So with that being said, at least the draft has 2 quarterback prospects that are projected to be top 5. Hopefully we can do enough homework to find the right one and aggressively move up. So with free agency being a low priority, we still made a decent move last year getting DPJ, but it was quality over quantity. That's kind of the case here, except it's not clear-cut if we're going to get him or not. I'm going to look at Asante Samuel Jr. at corner. Sutton is getting up there in age. He's regressing, so I think we could use another corner to pair with Branch and Farley, and it would be cool to get Asante Samuel Jr. because he's really the only desirable player I have in this whole class. And right now, we do have now the top bid, which didn't matter at all. He goes to Miami, probably taxes, so on and so forth. We're working on doing our homework on the top quarterbacks, and it looks like my favorite of the bunch is Mark Washington. He does have the AAA in comparison to, wow, see, like the quarterbacks are just not valued at all. We have 3 top 5 picks at quarterback. Jefferson's actually the #1 player right now on the big board. He's fallen to 22, and the other top 5 quarterback, who has a very weird build, Roy Carruthers, they're 5'11", 235, built like a bowling ball. Doesn't actually, so it looks like we might not have to trade up. The benefit, appreciate Jared Goff for getting us such a high pick that we are not going to have to move up for the best quarterback in the class. All right, so hopefully no funny business. The first two picks, Texans were projected to go tackle, which they do. Steelers were projected to go running back, which they do, which allows us at the 3rd overall pick to go for a quarterback. And look, we did the homework. Mark Washington is an actual elite quarterback top 5 talent at QB. 6'1", 235 out of Maryland. I love the fact that he's not from a ridiculous school. A deep accuracy, A short, A throw under pressure, elite acceleration, elite throw power. So he's a solid athlete. He's not going to have 90-some speed or anything crazy like that. But I think an easy pick for us at pick 3. And look at that. We get 90 acceleration, 92 change of direction. Just that's a weird build for Mr. Eggman here. 94 throw power. A lot of hey, no pressure. You just need to win the most Super Bowls ever. Go to the second round. D tackle and corner are the remaining positions that I want to try to beef up a little bit. D tackle because we let Ali McNeil and Onwuzurike walk. And there's not a lot of crazy options, I think, right now. There is a cheesy option, which is always something I have no issue doing, which is Nick Justice, 357-pound D tackle. He's probably going to be a layup. So I feel like he will still be there in the 3rd round. That's where we could go. Corner, there's 2 that look pretty good. First, we have Kyrie June from Oklahoma. 3 Bs, does have the D in man coverage, and the combine is solid. Or we have Amari Sheldon here. I mean, you can also put some respect on Trent Stanley, has the AA, even though catching's not really that important. Also has D in the man coverage, and only elite jumping, not the best athlete. Or we go on the size spectrum. 1B, 3C, so he has the most well-rounded stats. Highest floor, 6'3", so he's this, the height, the length that we like to look for. Elite acceleration, elite speed. I'm not even going to think twice about it. That's the guy I want, especially after missing out on Asante Samuel in free agency. I want to add a power back to the room, and we have Zaire Brown. 2 Bs, A carrying, 5'11", 220 pounds with elite strength, elite jumping, 4.47 speed. I just want that power complement option to Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think that's exactly what we get with Brown. And we've yet to make a pick in this rebuild that wasn't a hidden dev trade. And I'm sure when we come back with our next 3rd round pick, which I'm going to grab that nose tackle, he's probably going to have a dev trade as well. Come on down, Nick Justice. That's going to give us 2 starting D tackles. Oh, there's our first normal. He has 99 strength. That's going to give our 2 starting defensive tackles over 700 pounds in the middle of our defense. Just kind of picking BPA here. Landed a hidden dev tight end, Glenn Knox. Not really had any intentions on putting pressure on Sam Laporta. I like developing the real young players that are actually on the Detroit Lions. But, nice. He had a good best athlete at the tight end spot, was projected UDFA with a hidden dev. So he might be low 60s or something like that. But we'll stack as many dev trade players as we can. Miss. Literally, we have a fullback. Kabinda is usually our fullback. So they implement a fullback here. Best fullback, the best athlete was Nick Lumen. Another hidden dev. We've made like 12 picks in this rebuild so far, and 11 have been hidden dev players. Lumen 71 hidden dev. Knox 74. That was a UDFA grade. Glenn Knox 74 hidden dev. Pressure is on Laporta. Honestly, I think Sam Laporta's like 7. Well, he just got his dev trait, but it's good to have depth. Nick Justice, he is the lone dud, and saying he's a dud still is unfair because a 72 player in the 3rd round that's coming with 99 strength. That's a good guy. He's still a good player. Going to be able to contribute. Zaire Brown, 73 to be our RB2. Sheldon, 74. So there's that's pretty right at the cutoff of I feel confident maybe even starting him as a rookie. But the big get here, falling to us at 3. Didn't have to trade up. Mark Washington, 76 hidden dev quarterback. 94 throw power. Great athlete as well. I think we have to definitely check out what the other 2 quarterbacks were, just because there was at least a kind of a decision. Holy shit. Got to see why they went running back here. Chauncey Allen, 84. X Factor? Did Pittsburgh just... Is Najee Harris available? That's more so my question. They just straight up drafted. Oh my god. All right. A little bit of a smash and dash there. But looking at the other 2 quarterbacks, just to see if we made the right call or knowing what we went up against. So Sean Jefferson was projected to be the #1 pick. Fell quite a bit Still not brutal. 75 star dev. Okay. Kind of can see why he fell there. There was another quarterback, top 5, the guy with the weird build. He went late. Roy Carruthers back up to Herbert. Just straight up normal dev. So as far as quarterbacks are concerned, we went with the right call. So I would have loved to see the writing on what, but the writing might be on the wall for Laporta. Glenn Knox, UDFA X Factor. Got to get him on the field, but I would have loved to see some text next to Mark Washington, so I'm a little worried that that's just going to be a star dev. Not much else there from the rookie class. So an update as we go into year 3, we're at 85 overall, and here's just a quick look at our updated depth chart with a brand new quarterback. Washington's going to get the start. We're going to have Knox, because we know about, his higher upside. We'll phrase it as such. So he'll give him the up over Laporta, but I made Laporta our wide receiver 4. He still needs to be getting on the field. And I don't think Detroit's a playbook, a scheme that sims well to get 2 tight ends after it, so we're just going to try to still maximize what we have in Laporta offensive line, ready to run it back. On the defensive side, we got McKinley. I'm expecting to take his game to another level. Either him or Hudson. I want to see both of them push for double-digit sacks. And we're going to go with Sheldon, our hidden dev corner, which we used the unveiling. I just let the sim do it. They chose to unveil his dev trait and not our quarterback, which is certainly a bold take. But he is going to start on the outside with Farley, Brian Branch in the slot. Expectations... I don't mean, anytime you have a rookie quarterback, you kind of get that grace period that you could kind of suck, but I would like to see us go and challenge for above 500 this year. We're at the bye week, and we suck again, so I'm going to let Dan Campbell throw a coach under the bus. We'll phrase it as such. Our offense has been playing well. Our defense, not so much, so we're gonna hire away and try to find who is a good 4-3 defensive coordinator. What tree are we going to be I mean, we'll go with the easy layup right now. As it stands, we are going to poach someone from Steve Spagnuolo's defense there in Kansas City. That's what's going to happen. We're making the change right now. Hopefully, our defense steps up a little bit. Luckily, we have $124 million of salary cap space to operate with, which is going to allow us to keep whoever we want in the building. First up, we have Malcolm Rodriguez. Well, I think 4 years is a fair deal. He's 26 years old. Let's bump it up here a little bit to see if we can get him to sign. We'll go 4 years, $32 million. He does not want to be here, to the team that gave him a shot. Jonah Jackson's solid. But again, this is where long-term salary cap implications, we need to focus on it a little bit, because we have, a star dev waiting to take over. And I feel like that's going to be money that we can shift to make it so we can re-sign like a Kirby Joseph. Maybe even overpay here a little bit. We'll give him a player-friendly deal. We'll bump that up to $4.5 million bonus, 40 mil. Kirby Joseph locked in. And now it's time to pay the pipe here with Penei Sewell. I'll give him 7 years if he wants it, but we'll go 6 years, and we'll bump that up all the way up to $9 million. 6 years, $129 million for Sewell. Signs on the dotted line. We'll come back to the table with Rodriguez, and we'll move on from Jonah Jackson. I'll say this, it wasn't necessarily the defense, but our first sim game after switching the defense is a massive victory, 45-24 over the Philadelphia Eagles, where our rookie quarterback went off. Washington, 4 touchdowns on the day. Year 3 finishes with a 10-7 record and a playoff berth. We're going to have to run the gauntlet here in a tough matchup against the 12-5 Seahawks, but we're a better team, 87 overall. We finished with a top 6 offense. Defense played better down the stretch with a 6th-ranked rushing defense. So that change midseason definitely working out. Mark Washington finishes with a respectable season, 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Would be cool to see him get Rookie of the Year because he rolled as a superstar. Not quite an X Factor, but if we do get Offensive Rookie of the Year, that most likely will be a jump up in dev trade for him, and an X Factor quarterback would be awesome. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. We also had 15 from our rookie Zaire Brown, so that combo is working. Receiving, we had 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,100 yards, 8 tutties for Jameson Williams. Just shy of 1,000 for DPJ. And almost 900 yards, 9 touchdowns on 72 catches for our X-Factor rookie tight end, which those are great numbers for a tight end, let alone a rookie. Defensively, both Jack Campbell and Rodrigo go over 100 tackles this season. We got 13.5 sacks from McKinley, 11.5 from Hutchinson, 7.5 from Josh Paschal, which is nice to see. 4 picks, Brian Branch, 3 from Sheldon, 3 from Sutton. So generally, the change on the defensive side of the ball definitely working out well here for the Detroit Lions. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes, with Washington coming in at number 6. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Saquon Barkley. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Brian Burns. Offensive Rookie of the Year does go to Mark Washington. Very nice, with Knox at 4, Brown at 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Porter, just beating out Amari Sheldon, our starting corner. That would have been cool to get Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, because that's likely 2 depth traits coming our way. Jake Stewart beats Washington for Quarterback of the Year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 4 wide receiver. Hey, Riley Patterson, Kicker of the Year. He already got Kicker of the Year, year 1, that you guys didn't see when I was just simming to get everything caught up. That could be a superstar dev for the kicker that in real life, like, the Lions traded for. They give up assets, I think, to the Jags, like a 7th round pick to get a kicker, and it seems to be working out. But let's see if we can get at least our first playoff victory. I mean, we got the goal of 7 Super Bowls. Would be cool to get one here. Pretty much any Super Bowl we get while our quarterback's on his rookie contract is going to be just huge. And it wasn't pretty, but a victory nonetheless, 16-14 over Seattle. Ugh. Washington protected the football. They had Anthony Richardson there in Seattle. Did not. He had his 1 interception. Brown with 2 carries, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty efficient. $176 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Defensively, we got sack from Aiden Hutchinson, a pick from Amari Sheldon. Feeling okay about this one. Which leads us into the divisional round against a very good Giant team, 13-4. They're 90 overall. You know, we got our first playoff win with a rookie quarterback. I will take that. Anything else is house money. We beat them 31-21. Our rookie quarterback is in the battle of the 2 top QBs in the NFC. Wow. 31-21 over the Giants. They got, man, that's something that's very annoying to me. Is like more often than not, Jalen Hurts is leaving the Eagles in free agency and going to the Giants. It feels like Giants are the most common landing spot. Very annoyed by that, but luckily we handle business. Mark Washington, big time game. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick for the rookie. Sending this goddamn team to the championship. Glenn Knox, the rookie tight end, 100 and some yards. We had a sack and a half there from Aiden Hutchinson. Rodrigo gets an interception. If we get 1 Super Bowl here, man, like that's the whole thing about this. It's very daunting to be like, we got to get 7 Super Bowls. But Madden is all about momentum. You have a team that can win the Super Bowl. You can win it 2-3 times, and we are in the Super Bowl. Year number 3 of the rebuild against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 teams looking for their first Super Bowl, but 35-28 over the Eagles in a game where their quarterback turned it over. Our quarterback did not. Mark Washington, congratulations. Man, Brown has like 6 touchdowns and 27 yards in this playoffs. But that's why you draft him. Over 100 yards for Jameson Williams. Defensively, got a sack from Hamlin. We got a pick from Jack Campbell. Defense and offense has been getting it done. I appreciate the fact that our defense, 28 points, 21 points, 14 points. The change to go and poach someone from Steve Spagnuolo's defense has absolutely worked out in favor of the Detroit Lions. And now we are set to try to win first of 7 Super Bowls against the 88 overall Jacksonville Jaguars. The only bad news is Mark Washington got Offensive Rookie of the Year. We are now in the Super Bowl, so any dev trait gained or lost would have happened by now, and I do not see an X factor on our quarterback, so he's stuck at Superstar Dev, which is not the best role, but if we win the Super Bowl, we'll be fine with it. We're going to play the moments for all of our Super Bowl appearances because, you know, few and far between. We know the Madden Sim, we don't have to win every Super Bowl that we appear in, but we want to try to win every one. So if things get a little fishy, if they need a little assistance, we'll try our best to see what we can do. As we're down 10. Ugh, this is not looking particularly good. All right, we're going to come in here late first. A touchdown here would be massive for this team going in the second half. We're going to fire this in. Makes the grab sideline. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why not a little slant cheese to try and cut the lead to 3? Go to the backup tight end, Laporta. Ooh. Taken by surprise. Jahmyr Gibbs on the inside. 90, having a 97 speed running back has its advantages. Touchdown, Detroit. Needed those points before halftime. We just give up a fucking touch. Come on! Wake up! We're going to lose. You can't have that happen. Have 20 seconds before halftime, just give up a touchdown. It's unbelievable. Going for it. All or nothing. Come on, man. Like, I was in my head, I was already assuming this is going to be a Super Bowl win. Need a touchdown here to have any life. St. Brown gets open. Throws a stiff arm. Fights through the tackles. We have a pulse, but it's not looking great. It's not our time, man. Not our time. Unless, I mean, I've seen crazier things. We're going to need to get a touchdown here. We're going to need to likely boot it deep and try and get a punt. All right, we get our touchdown. We're going to skip the onside. Let's get this stop. 3 timeouts. Here we go, Rodrigo. 4th and 8. They're punting. J-Mo. J-Mo! Go! Do we go for the win? Do we make the... I let the computer make the win. We let the computer make the win. One sack. One sack. 3rd and 10. Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, whatever. That's not the worst thing. 4th down and 3. Super Bowl 1. Oh, let's go! I don't care how much I need to help get this one over the line. We will take it. Let's go. Super Bowl 1 in the books. Year 3. With a rookie quarterback. The future bodes well. We now have a new window. With a quarterback that can do this, we're going to be able to have a very strong team for the next 2 to 3 seasons before we have to pay him $300 million. I'm going to set the pressure. Our goal is 7. We got to win 6 more. At minimum, we have to win another Super Bowl while he's on his rookie contract. At minimum. But let's soak this one in first. I wish I could have just simmed it. I wish my team was good enough just to straight up sim it, but we were getting dog-walked by the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars. So we took full control here of all cue ball, and we got win number 1. Shout out to Caillou. Did he get MVP? I assume he would have got MVP. He played very well, protected the football, 4 touchdowns. Yes, sir. We clean out our lockers as Super Bowl champions. Our dev traits go as such. Brown was our rookie hidden dev running back. He popped as a star. Knox, X Factor, up to an 87 overall. No other dev traits up or down. And on the defensive side, Aiden Hutchinson is now a superstar dev, which is a big-time win. Brian Branch up to a superstar dev. And that is it, and that's all we need. I'm happy with that. Nice free agency class, but we are going to sit on the sidelines here as our team's really complete. We need a linebacker. That is it. That's where we're going to target early in the draft, and we're going to roll over $108 million so that we can continue to re-sign our own players. I want to move up 6 spots here in the first round. It cost me, we have a bunch of 3rd and 4th round picks still because we've been kind of kicking those mid-round picks down the road to move up with the Panthers because there's one linebacker that I really want that's still on the board. Linebackers, Russell Williams, A-zone coverage, B tackle, not amazing, not a S tier, but it's kind of what you're looking for, at least for zone coverage, because we've changed our defensive scheme. Before, our outside linebacker, one of them anyways, was like a power rusher. Now it's, you know, field general, zone coverage type players. That's exactly what Russell Williams is going to bring. Elite speed, that's all I need to see. Dev trait or not, he's going to get on the field and likely, you know, as a tackle machine, get that defensive rookie of the year and get a dev trait. Second round, we got a nice undersized D tackle here with a finesse move. I feel like with two 350-pound D tackles, it'd be nice to have a nice little interior pass rusher. Calhoun looks like an exceptional athlete, but no dev trait. Maybe we used all our dev trait luck in the first couple drafts. Taking two swings at a linebacker here, we have Frank McCartney, another A-zone coverage player with elite speed. Wow. We had so many picks this year. I kind of let the sim do its thing, and that's where, but hey, guess when the sim started? The last couple picks are actually not brutal, all things considered, but no hidden devs drafted from us. Russell Williams, 75 still a great rating, so is 73, but damn. I mean, these guys got to put the work in now to hit their ceilings. So we sit atop the NFC North with a 6-3 record, top 5 offense, top 10 defense. This is a window. Like it's right now, it's almost how many Super Bowls can we win? Because while we do have $152 million of salary cap, it is only going to go down here from here on out as things are about to get pretty expensive. So up first, we have Frank Ragnow. We'll give him a player-friendly 4-year deal, keep him as a Detroit Lion to the retires. Aiden Hutchinson, another just top priority. We'll give him 5 years, $101 million. He wants more. We can't really afford to let him walk. We have Jameson Williams, who I've done enough Lions videos and just Jameson Williams content to know that he generally is like underperformed. He's been great in this rebuild, which is kind of surprising. We'll get Taylor Decker on a 1-year deal. Don't have to commit a lot of long-term money on that one. It's just, I mean, I like our kicker. If you'll take this deal, sure. Not the smartest thing, though, when you're trying to be conscientious of your salary cap. We have Brian Branch, who's been very good. Definitely has excelled now that we're in our new scheme, so I don't want to let him walk. We'll give him 6 years, 60, which is great. I don't think it will cost a whole lot more to get Aiden Hutchinson's contract over the line as well. So I think, generally speaking, pretty good business keeping a lot of talent in Detroit. It costs like $1 million more. We got Aiden Hutchinson signed in long-term. Year 4 is defending Super Bowl champions win the NFC North with a 12-5 record awaiting our opponent in the divisional round. But looking at our regular season stats, pretty happy with the numbers. 5th in touchdowns with 38. Ran the football pretty well. 1,000 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 touchdowns. Zaire Brown, we had 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns for Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams, a little disappointing season. Might be at risk at losing his superstar dev. DPJ was solid. Knox was solid. Defensively, Jack Campbell over 100 tackles. We have 17 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson, 9 for Terrell McKinley, and decent interception numbers across the board. Mark Washington won quarterback of the year in the NFC, and I think that is our lone. Oh my God, we got kicker of the year again. That's why you re-signed a kicker. 3-time kicker of the year. In the divisional round, I hate to do it to my birds, but we're probably going to have to put them down here. We are the best team in the NFL, and when you are doing a challenge series like this, you need to capitalize while you're the best team in the NFL. 45-20 on a 4-touchdown Mark Washington performance. I mean, this Stewart guy, too, has been, you know, he's been good, too. It's kind of been like a two-headed race in the NFC the last couple seasons, who the top quarterback is. So I'm sure that's not going to be the last time we see Philadelphia. In the championship game, it is the very good Panthers, man. 88 overall. Brian Burns, 21 sacks. They have the 8th offense. Number 2 ranked rushing defense. Luckily, we like to throw the football. And we have to ban the run. Jahmyr Gibbs is a threat in the passing game. And we handle business again. We're the best team. 39-24. Setting up a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls. A tremendous start to be able to hit that within the first 5 years. This time, it's against a pretty good Titans team that signed Lamar Jackson. They have the 6th offense, 6th defense. Going against the 7th offense, 4th defense is going to be a tough one. Because we already have our first Super Bowl in the bank, I'll be a little less hands-on-y, but I'd love to see it the better team win and at least be a close game, competitive game. And it looks like it is. Both teams trading touchdowns in the first quarter. Tennessee goes for a field goal. I got to come in. I'm thinking once per half. Seems like a fair amount. And I hope both times that I do come in result in touchdowns so I can be responsible for at least 14 points. 3rd and 4 here. We'll at least move the change. We go to Jameson Williams, who did lose his dev trade. He is now down to a star dev, but he's still a 92 speedster with 99 speed. Go ahead, score right there. Defense, get me a stop, which we do. A chance to get points for the end, and it looks like we turned the ball over. Just give them. And our kicker of the year, 3-time kicker of the year, misses a field goal. Can't have that, man. Down 7. I think this needs to be the time we hop in here. Chance to at least try and tie it. We got Jameson Williams. You got to watch the safety over the top. Honestly, I want to send DPJ on the other side deep. I feel like one of them will get open. We go DPJ. Great throw. Honestly, an excellent ball. Able to make the contested catch on Amani Hooker. Tied up at 24. 2 turnovers, man. We've given the ball up twice. Both times result in touchdowns. 237. We need a defensive stop. Can't get it. I mean, I'm already frustrated from the fact that really, if we simmed both Super Bowls, we're probably 0-2. Fuck. As this team very disappointingly leaves year 4 with no Super Bowl. We lose a superstar on Jameson Williams. Everything else remains the same, which is, I think, unfair. I think Washington should be an X factor by now. He's stuck on superstar. We have Kirby Joseph loses his superstar. We did gain that dev trait on Williams, the linebacker, which is pretty cool. Everyone else remains the same. Start our offseason with our starting left tackle, Taylor Decker, retiring after 11 seasons. Gotta replace that. That's a big loss. The free agent period where we just want to go quality over quantity. We have Broderick Jones, easily the best tackle available, offering him a 5-year deal. But I didn't want to overpay, and he goes to the most money. So we are now almost going all in for a left tackle in this draft. All right, so we are all in for a tackle. Literally anybody that was over 6'5" is going to qualify for our pick. And that's all we scouted. Our top option is gone, which sucks. Greg Bennett's the AA and the B. He is kind of solid. We have Hobson here, who also look fairly solid. 6'5", 312, 3 Bs and an A, which I might feel a little inclined just to straight up get it. Who has the better combo? Whoever's a better combo between him and Greg Bennett will be the player we get. Bennett has good greats, 38 reps on the bench press. Looks like a really nice athlete. And we have Hobson, who, let's see, we got any elites, elite acceleration, elite agility. I wonder if I can get them both. I wonder if, all things considered, can I get Greg Bennett in the first and then trade up and get Hobson in the second? That's what I'm going to try to do. We got Bennett in the first, hidden dev tackle. Good start. We're able to trade up in the second round with the Baltimore Ravens, kind of selling out our day 3 picks so that we can ensure that we get Hobson. I was pretty much just waiting for the left guards to start to run. Will Means just went off the board out of Boise State. So with our limited picks, Hobson, clearly the next best player available, gives us some versatility on the offensive line. Another hidden dead lineman. And our search for a new left tackle, well, not really any further ahead as we have 2 hidden devs, both 73 overall, both legitimate size to compete for that position. I'll take that as a dub. So here's the bye week. It's year 5. This is usually where our rebuild videos stop, but we are on the pursuit of 6 more Super Bowl. Man, I wish we won last year's. It'd be a lot better sitting here at year 5 with 2 Super Bowls already under our belt. But our team's a 91 overall. We're not really showing any signs of slowing down. And judging by our available salary cap, $117 million, you know, I still think we're going to have a nice 2-3 year period where our team is going to be very, very good. But we have some tough decisions to make. We have some contracts, some players that we got to figure out to re-sign. First up, we have Julian Capps. This is just a ridiculous bargain. Hopefully he signs it. Guys like that, when we get almost 80 overall star dev players for 5 years and that cheap, that is going to help us keep this thing going. Tony Hamlin, our nose tackle, again, honestly looks fairly reasonable. Like, we'll give him 6 years, right? You commit the longer years, and it just kind of lessens up this cap. We have Spencer Ruggs at guard. This guy's very good. Another guy, I want to give him 6 years. Look at that, $40 million. Like, even if we bump it up just a little bit to try to get this over the line. See if we can get him there. 6 years, 45. Exactly what he's looking for. Our interior offensive line, set and forget. I know it's not what people want to see, but Jahmyr Gibbs has not been amazing. He's been good, not amazing. Jack Campbell also, I mean, Jack Campbell's been, leading our team in tackles here, but I don't necessarily want to overpay Jack Campbell. So let's bump this up to where I kind of feel comfortable. Like 4 years, get that close. 4 years for around 45 mil is about the max I would want to pay for Jack Campbell. He wants more. Like, we might have to move on from our first round picks because Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, that's not brutal money, but we're going to have to overpay because there's very little re-sign interest, at least right now. Maybe at the end of the year, that meter jumps up a little bit. But Jahmyr Gibbs has been, like, it's fair to say, like, just a guy, not really doing, like, you combine his numbers, he's been solid, but not 92. He's not playing like a 92 overall. And the fact that our backup running back has been very good and been a touchdown vulture, and he's more of a scheme fit. Scheme fit here for the Lions is a power back. Jahmyr Gibbs is like a receiving elusive back, whatever you want to break it down. I honestly feel like we might have to pivot a little bit. It's not like a 5-year rebuild where we can just re-sign everybody. Got to think about down the line. You got to think about production has to justify a contract. I don't know if, especially in Gibbs' case, if it's worth it. For about $1 million more, we got Jack Campbell to sign on the dotted line, and I'll make this agreement. If that interest meter jumps up a little bit, if we can get him at least into yellow, like not necessarily like that where that meter's at, but just a little bit below it, I'll offer Jahmyr Gibbs. But as long as he has zero interest, paying a running back for a series that I have no idea how long it's going to take, not really one of my top priorities. Then you arrive another divisional title, going 11-6, winning the NFC North with our powerhouse 92 overall squad. Number 7 offense, number 3 defense in the NFL. We're going to ignore the fact that we're taking on the Bucs in the first round and try to focus on the positives. Mark Washington, really, really solid season, 4,700 yards, 40 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, 1,000 yards, 10 tutties for Jahmyr Gibbs. Zaire Brown, however, I just feel like if we move him to our starting running back, we'll get similar numbers. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs has not been, like, I expect more given our offensive line out of a 92 overall. And maybe it comes down, obviously, to the playbook here, and Detroit just doesn't run the football a lot, which is weird, but maybe that's the case. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,010 for J-Mo, 1,010 for Glenn Knox. Tom McCoy, who was like a late-round pick, he was our wide receiver 3. Solid year, all things considered. A lot of speed for him. Pretty much, what was that guy's name? Guy used to be on the Bucs. Super fast. There's our Andy Isabella, if you want. There's another one. Scotty Miller. Typecast. Malcolm Rodriguez and Jack Campbell, both going over 100 tackles. Both actually having really nice seasons. 3.5 sacks, 3 picks for Rodrigo. 4.5 sacks, 4 picks for Jack Campbell. That is why we're paying Jack Campbell. He's coming on here late. Aiden Hutchinson, 18 sacks, 9.5 on 17 TFLs for McKinley. Just really good number. Very happy. I'm very happy with these two numbers. Defensively, 4 picks, Jack Campbell. Leading the team, Farley with 3, Rodrigo with 3. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence. Washington coming in at number 6. And looking for just straight up award winners on the Detroit Lions. Washington was runner-up for quarterback of the year. We had Hutchinson was 3rd for D lineman of the year. We didn't even win kicker. Wow. All right, well, not a lot of individual accolades. That's fine because we are shifting all of our focus to Super Bowl number 2, making 3 straight Super Bowls in a row for our Detroit Lions squad. We handle business 37-31 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we look to run the gauntlet as the 3 seed here. Of course, like the UDFA quarterback from the very first draft class is dominating in Tampa, but shout out Mark Washington. What a game, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Next, I would say Carolina. That's a tough one. They were 12-5, had a better record than us. And you know what? I'll say this. Anytime you beat the Bucs in the playoffs, it's almost like house money playing for it. And that's an ugly game. Holy, 15-12. Shout out to my defense. Ugh. Mark Washington, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Tua, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. If we had to find at least a difference maker. Malcolm Rodriguez, sack and a half and an interception. Sure, we'll give him the game ball. Honestly, fair to say, man, Rodrigo having a little bit of a breakout year here in year 5. So good for him. Need him to keep on. Man, he might be one of those guys. Him and Campbell, both on star dev with their big seasons. I'd love 2 superstar linebackers. That'd be pretty cool. So for a chance to make it to our 3rd straight Super Bowl, standing in our way is the 10-7 Arizona Cardinals. We are 7 and another just defensive, grindy performance, which is fine because we can win these sim games if we put that effort up. And right now, it is going to be the 10-7 Joe Burrow led. And that's a lot of interceptions there for Joe Burrow. 38 touchdowns, 15 picks. They're only an 85 overall. We're 92. This whole series, this is my first time doing it. I'm sure if you guys enjoy this and we come back and do more teams, we might notice some trends. But I'll tell you right now, my team's not going to be a 92 overall forever, right? There's going to come a time as soon as I have to pay my quarterback, veterans are going to retire. Like, unless we can keep drafting ridiculous players. We're already seeing right now, I'm likely going to be losing a 95 running back just so I can kind of worry about my salary cap down the line. We got to win. We got to win right now. This is our window. We've made it 3 straight Super Bowls. Who knows if we can make it again next year. But of the 7 that we need to win this series, this is the window we need to get a couple here. Get some snowball effect going. Keep on rolling. And unfortunately, if you're a Bengal fan, I think we're about to lay the smack down. But who knows? Could be another one of those games where just everything goes against us. Even if I hop in, it's just not in the cards for us to win. And opening drive, Cincinnati gets the first score of the game, but we're able to equalize, tied up at 7. I just want to see my defense show up. My defense has been holding 2 straight games under 20 points. I think if we can do that here today, it's going to be big time. So we're able to nail the field goal, go to the second half. It's all tied up at 10. We'll come in now. It's just like, why, man? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the Lions loser mentality playbook. But it just feels like this is not a good sim team, like in the Super Sim. There's good Super Sim teams, bad Super Sim teams. It feels like we're going to be kind of working against that here in this series. But we're going to send it deep. Amon-Ra St. Brown just absolutely cooks. I'm just going to say that's Eli Apple. And we are able to tie this one up at 17. And the CPU able to get us a go-ahead score, 24-17. I'd love just the CPU to close this one out so it's not like I had a whole lot of influence here. If we get a nice drive here to end the game, there we go. We're the best. We're not going to gloat too much. We already got that first Super Bowl to break the seal. Like when you at you're at a sporting event and you're drinking beers. That feel it's bad. But once you break that seal, that's that feeling of relief. We've already experienced that with our first Super Bowl. Now, we are the best team in the NFL. We need to be stacking Super Bowls. We need to be Tom Brady in this shit. So luckily, 3rd straight Super Bowl. At least this one does not end in a loss. We need 5 more to finish this video. And I think with this current group, I think we can at least get 1 more, if not 2, before we have to pay our quarterback $400 million. Last piece of business before we get to the offseason was Jahmyr Gibbs. Out of respect to the player, I'll offer him this contract. Not too shabby. If he takes it, awesome. If not, best of luck in your future endeavors. I'm surprised. 2 Super Bowls never moved the needle for him to have more interest re-signing here. You barely got over 1,000 yards behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. See ya. I think it's going to be a quiet free agency again. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2nd best running back available. We could bring like Saquon Barkley in for a short-term deal just to see if... I don't know. I feel like just don't pay running backs. That's how we're gonna always have a little bit of breathing with our salary cap. Make that concession. Like we don't really pay offensive linemen not named Sewell. We don't pay running backs. We don't pay wide receivers, slot wide receiver 3s. Like how many years is Saquon looking for? 3 years. Yeah, that's a lot. I was gonna say if we can get like a 1 or 2 year deal, have him on the books until it's time to pay our quarterback. So be it, but I just don't think that's what we're missing. That's the missing piece. Like I think that we can continue to survive with a committee approach at running back. Hey, I might even invest my 1st round pick this year if there's a running back worthy of that selection. Only other position I was kind of interested in and maybe upgrading was D tackle, but just absolutely nothing there of interest. So we will just rock and roll into the draft again. Unreal. Take for what it's worth. That was my top player available, Alex Dowling. He was a second round D tackle. Looked like an absolute, like the kind of D tackle we're dreaming of right now, too. Like an undersized pass rusher guy. Okay, well, running backs doesn't really look like a particularly strong running back class, so we'll likely just rock and roll with what we have. I mean, we could always look at, like, the better athletes at the position, but even here, like, you know, I haven't been able to find, like, a guy that's, like, the speed and agility. Sims has probably the best agility. Yeah, we'll kind of wait and see. There was a wide receiver, Dell, that looked really, really nice. He's probably top A, deep route running, B release. Doesn't matter about the catching whatsoever. Elite speeds, 4.27 speed player. That's probably going to be our top pick right now, considering my D tackle Dowling went off the board. Yeah. I mean, there's another gigantic nose tackle. We can always just keep kind of stuff the stat sheet as is. There was a couple tall corners, too, that fit. Like Derek Dalton looks kind of nice. Double B's there at 6'3". But I think when in doubt, we just kind of, you know, we can always improve the wide receiver. And Jabari Hood looks nice as well, 6'2", 230. But try, tested, and true method are these speedsters. And that's exactly, this guy's going to be a stud. We'll grab at least one running back. We'll go with the best athlete. Hopefully, like, I don't have a lot of experience drafting running backs in Madden 23, but I'm going to go with the guy that's second in the 40, second in the 3-cone, first in the 20. Not a good pick. So look at our draft recap. We wanted a running back and a D tackle. We ended up getting, you know what? I'll take a 74, even though he's normal dev. You know, could be interesting to see how he thrives. You know, it's going to be, it takes a village to probably replace Jahmyr Gibbs. And he could be our Alabama running back to replace our Alabama running back. But Johnny Dell, I love that. 77 hidden dev burner. And luckily his catching was terrible, but he gets a nice +5 boost because of our coaching staff. A ridiculous athlete to pair that with Jamison Williams on the outside. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. That's a dub. We got another 70 wide receiver. I just simmed that one out there. So it is what, who is it? The Bengals? This is what, like, kind of set everything off. I thought we had a layup getting Dowling. 76 hidden dev power rush D tackle. This is my #1 target. If it's anything more than a star, I'll be upset. If it's a star, I mean, it is what it is. We just missed out. Oh, come on. Man, that's the second time. I mean, you know, it's not the second time, but considering like that first draft where we passed on the X Factor corner, this one was a little bit different. We didn't pass on him, but the fact that he was my guy all along, the only guy that I got favorited in my entire draft board, that would have been pretty awesome to have. We're off to a fantastic start in year 6. 8-2, sitting atop the NFC North. Again, we're the super team. We are the best team in the NFL. But this is going to be a tough hurdle. There's going to have to be decisions. Yes, we have $90 million of salary cap, but we also have a lot of players looking to get paid. So we're going to start. I like D. Farley. He's been one of our like OGs, but I don't really want to overpay. So we'll start 5 years, 55. Nice. Get him locked in. Why are we even starting? We got to start with the big dogs. We got Glenn Knox at tight end. Let's get him for 6 seasons. I want him. He's 31. Get him locked in the X Factor. We have Terrell McKinley, prolific pass rusher. I think, see if we can get him till he's 31. $96 million. Got him locked and loaded. Now here's where the decisions come up. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson hasn't really been amazing, especially to the level of no interest in re-signing. I'll look at someone like Amari Sheldon. I wonder, like, this is just a really affordable contract. So much like the guards, come on. All right, we got him to buy in. I think we're going to let Chauncey Gardner-Johnson walk. Again, that won't be a final conclusion, because maybe at the end of the season that interest meter jumps up a little bit. If that's the case, we'll definitely explore the options. But as long as there's zero interest, I am not in a position to overpay, considering next year is the year we got to pay our quarterback. We finished year 6, 94 overall base rating, 12-5, another NFC North title with a playoff journey that we can't get that first round by. I don't know why it's been so elusive. Washington with probably his worst year, which is not great. Our rushing attack was also not great. Are we missing Jahmyr Gibbs? Might be a fair question to ask. Amon-Ra St. Brown with a solid season. Jameson Williams goes over 1,000 yards. Strong year from Glenn Knox. Johnny Dell, our first round pick, top pick at wide receiver. Star Dev, speedster, respectable rookie season as being really the fourth receiving option on the team. Defensively, Jack Campbell over 100 tackles, 19.5 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson, 16 from McKinley. So one of the best 1-2 punches as far as pass rush is concerned in the NFL. 4 picks, Brian Branch, 3 from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Anthony Richardson wins the MVP. Just looking more so for some Detroit Lions here. Oh, we got lineman of the year, Spencer Ruggs. Love seeing that. That's likely going to be a dead trade for him. He's on star. So I'm expecting to have a superstar lineman to pair with the other 2 that we have in Frank Ragnow and P. Nice. So also 3 superstars potentially on this Detroit Lion offensive line. We start our playoff journey against the 10-7 Atlanta Falcons, looking for our 4th straight Super Bowl and that 3rd Super Bowl victory. And with that win, ooh, that is a competitive Carolina Panther team. 2nd best defense, in the NFL. Carolina has, yet again, not number 1. You know who got number 1? The good guys. Well, kind of looking at our quarterbacks down season, it's believable that a team with a 95 offense, severely underperformed to be the 16th ranked offense overall. We definitely have the highest overall. We should be the number 1 offense in the NFL, but luckily able to handle Carolina 35-17. It does feel a little bit like it's only a matter of time until our luck runs out. It could be this week against the 14-3 Seattle Seahawks. I got Saquon Barkley. They're the number 1 offense, average 34.3 points per game. They have a top 5 defense. Unless we can make it ugly. This could be one of those games that we win 17-15 or something like that. We'll take it. We have a player that's on good form, 35. I'd love to see him be my quarterback. After a down year, yes, Washington getting player of the week in the playoffs. That is going to be great for his momentum. Joe Burrow's on fire on the other side. Wondering if we would be a Bengals-Lions matchup. Battle of the Cats. But we need to, I don't want to say upset because we've been in the Super Bowl 3 straight years. But I think a lot of people are probably going to assume Seattle's going to win this one. And what did I say? Had to happen, did happen. We win 17-14. We kept the game ugly. And we have made our 4th straight Super Bowl, looking for that 3rd title, and it is against Joe Burrow and the 11-6 Cincinnati Bengals. I said at the beginning of this video, I had no idea how long it was going to take. This is now first thing Wednesday morning. I'm now into day 2 of recording this. So this gameplay, if I have to hop in, which I hope I don't, might not be my best because I am still barely awake. I don't have any energy drinks, don't have that extra fuel. Very tired. Excuses. I'm trying to just lay down in the land in case something bad happens. But ultimately, I would love to get a Super Bowl. All of our Super Bowl wins so far have been, at some regard, me controlling a lot of the game. Not a lot of the game, but like getting points. Our Super Bowl loss was when I went completely hands off and did not play any aspect of the game. I'd love to get our 3rd Super Bowl win. Just our team in the sim was the best team in the sim. And it looks like we might need to come in here if there's a 3rd down just to put them away because it seems like the Cincinnati Bengals are just scoring at will. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to run the football with my team that struggles to run the football to try to put this one. We're going to go with close, play action play. We're going to try and go. We got a Conquo. We got JMO. We literally just need 1 first down. We get a 1st down here. This game is over. We go to Jameson Williams. I'm not even going to tackle battle. Take the catch. There's only 1 timeout for Cincinnati. We're going to be able to kill this game off. Right? No, we're going to score a touchdown. Doesn't matter. That is our 3rd Super Bowl. And you got to figure next year, like that's going to be the end, I think, of this first window. We have Super Bowl win. I'm going to write it down here. I'm keeping notes. Number 3 going into year 7. We're just about the halfway point of, the 7th Super Bowl goal. But year 7 is going to be the last year that our rookie quarterback is on his rookie contract. We are going to have to pay the piper next season. And I do think that that's where the team's going to take a little bit of a step back, because we have a pretty expensive roster right now. We have, guys like Aiden Hutchinson, guys like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, guys like Jack Campbell, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Very, very expensive. And it is going to come to a point where we're going to have to pay our X-Factor tight end on top of our quarterback. So I feel like even though we've done our due diligence in terms of not overspending in free agency, making tough decisions like letting Jahmyr Gibbs walk, and we've faced immediate consequences of that. We could not run the football well this year. But I do think, at some point there's going to be like a mini rebuild within this rebuild. And we're just going to keep riding till the wheels fall off. And I feel like the first time that the wheel's going to start cracking, getting a little squeaky, looking like it could fall off, is when we're going to have to pay our quarterback. So that means next year, year 7, I think it's pretty important. We come back. We make our 5th straight Super Bowl and win our 4th one, because it might take a couple years after the fact to get number 5. Now, I was thinking if there was safety help in free agency that we could maybe make a little bit of a splash, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot here. Like this guy, actually, Jadavion Brittingham, 26 years old. I'm a little intrigued here, potentially. Keep him at least 29. There's no other bids on him right now. Could be a sneaky gift for Detroit. I think there's going to be other teams that jump on, because we need to find a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson replacement. That'd be cool, though, man. If we could sneak in under the radar. Hey, look, other bids are going to be coming in. So I want to actually up this one, because it's not a bad contract. And I'm more so thinking like that superstar development for at least a season. He's going to bring him up to probably an 85. So if we can get Brittingham, which we do, on a very affordable deal, we still have plenty of salary cap to pay our quarterback this coming season. So I got a couple ideas for this draft. Running back is a position that I would love to improve, and we have a clear front runner for our first pick, Bryson Bradshaw. First, second round projection, but it comes out as a legit first round talent, a ball carrier vision, double B's there, and athletically speaking, not bad, not necessarily S tier, but I'll take the greats for most of those stats. I think tight end's another position, because our X Factor tight end is going to be coming up for contract, and I feel like we might be able to, and we got 3 A's here on Kerry Stephenson, who actually looks incredible, and that looks like a guy that could potentially replace him, because as soon as we pay our quarterback, if I have to pay that, if that tight end is not coming at a bargain, he's not, we're not talking about Travis Kelce 2.0 or anything. He gets like 800 yards, 8-9 touchdowns. Like a good tight end would be able to replicate that, but I don't know. It's like, is he going to be, I think we go with the running back right now, because our running room was pretty bad last year, and hopefully maybe trade up for that tight end in the second round. So as soon as the first tight end went off the board, I wanted to trade up, and that's exactly what we did. So we're able to jump up 30 spots by giving a 2nd, 4th, and 5th round pick to the Houston Texans to move up for the 5th overall pick in the 2nd round. I actually think that's a very favorable deal for us. Like, I mean, we're going to utilize a lot of those picks anyways, and it's going to give us insurance. Either it's going to be a really nice tight end too, or if we have to move on, we have a guy that looks pretty damn good. I think an underrated position for us to kind of finish up the draft, getting our last little target, is the linebacker spot. And I think with this linebacker spot, we're really in a position where, our guys are getting up there in age a little bit. Rodrigo's getting older. Jack Campbell's getting older. Kendrick Davidson, good. I like the fact that he's A zone coverage, B pursuit. Don't have as much information. We have Jesse Edwards here, who's another late pick. Has B pursuit, could have potentially A zone, but he's a lot better athlete, man. 4.42, 4.36 at linebacker. I feel like when in doubt, gamble. Give me the athlete over the guy with slightly better stats right out the gate. No depth trait, which is fine because he's not going to play right away, but hopefully he pulls a nice rating and is good depth. Wow, I feel really good about that draft class. Edwards, 73. Stevenson, 77. Even if we keep the X Factor, that is awesome depth to have. This guy could be like our slot wide receiver, our new, 3rd go-to option at that rate. Outstanding athlete. And we got Bryson Bradshaw, our new running back, 76 with a hidden dev. The Super Bowl champion, been in 4 straight Super Bowl games. Also, probably had the best draft. The rich get richer. So just to kind of get everyone caught up to speed where we're at with our squad, going into year 7, looking for our 4th Super Bowl of our 7 Super Bowl challenge, our 94 overall Detroit line. Something that, may still be surprising, maybe not. Washington is yet to become an X factor. We are still very much battling for his development. I mean, but he's still been playing very well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, their superstar. We have the whole right-hand side of the offensive line is S tier. Offensive line is S tier. We got Knox, 97 X factor tight end. We got his insurance in case things don't work out in Stevenson. Defensively, we have 2 X factor pass rushers, Hutchinson and McKinley, the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. Great linebacking core. Brittingham comes and joins us to be a successor to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a lot of upside as a superstar dev. Rest of our secondary, 85, 91, and 90, as well as 92 now for Kirby Joseph. Great development of projects, sticking with an actual homegrown Detroit line from that day one roster. Really, really confident again, guys, that we're going to get another Super Bowl. At least another good crack at it here this season. Anything less would be severely disappointing. Outstanding start to year number 7. 6-1. Bears are also sick and tired of watching the Lions win everything. They're 6-1, so a competitive squad. But this is doomsday of sorts here in year 7. It is... I don't think it's going to be particularly good. Luckily, at least we have a starting point of $102 million of salary cap, but we can't really even think about St. Brown, Kirby Joseph, the kicker, until we get this contract hammered out. And unfortunately, our quarterback has zero desire to stay here. So, I mean, I think we just start with very player-friendly, see where that brings us, and he needs... Told you we literally, I'm not going to sign anybody else until we can get this one across the line. So we'll come back next week. I have maybe 320 million, 325 million total could get this one over the line. $30 million is the max salary. We're going to bump it from 24 up to 26. This is dicey. We're going to go to 27.1, which now brings his contract up to $400 million for a guy who seemingly will never become an X-Factor quarterback. But with that said, we're also going to try to keep Amon-Ra St. Brown here. Very valuable player. And I'm not too worried about regression. Rodrigo on a 2-year deal just so we don't lose everybody in the linebacking core. But I do think we're going to have to move on from Kirby Joseph. Unfortunately, we just don't have it in the books to pay that. I can't pay a kicker. Russell Williams, that's why we drafted that linebacker in the 3rd round. Because didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Maybe I should have, but then if I would have, we would have had less money anyways. It's getting tough now. Hey, surprise, surprise. A team that's been 95 overall for like 4 years now is tough to keep together in a league with a salary cap. Shocking. Again, we really, even though it's getting almost too overpowered at this point, we really need to win a Super Bowl this season. And it's our best record, and we're getting carried by the defense, and not by our 99 perfect offense. That was 20th in the league, but our defense first across the board as we post easily our best record of this rebuild so far, 15-2, another NFC North title for the Detroit Lions, but $400 million quarterback going for that. Not good. We might have to remember we made that change on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not saying we switched to Chiefs offense or a Bucks offense, but maybe there's something better than Detroit's offense, because we are not maximum. At this point, I don't even care if you say cheese or not. I need to maximize my $400 million quarterback, and I'm not going to just stay with Detroit's offense. We might need to get a new OC and some fresh ideas to stay on top. But also, if we win another Super Bowl, it clearly isn't broke. So, I'm paying $400 million for Super Bowls, not for a quarterback to get 50 touchdowns in a season. Bryson Bradshaw, rookie running back. Again, another reason, more evidence to maybe change up our offense a little bit. Running backs have never really been a big part of our offense. I like our backup tight end, who must have filled in at fullback 7 touchdowns rushing. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes for 1,000. Jameson Williams for 1,000. Solid year to Johnny Dell, 794 and 12. Knox with 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. Defensively, Jack Campbell over 100 tackles. We got 22 sacks. Hutchinson, 19.5 from McKinley. Our 2 X-Factor pass rushers are living up to the height. Jack Campbell led the team with 5 interceptions. Yearly awards, Mahomes wins the MVP. Shocking. And we have... I don't think we're going to have any award winners, if I'm being honest with you. Hayden Hutchinson probably was our best shot with those sacks, and he came runner-up behind Brian Burns for D Lineman of the Year. So that's fine. They can all have their individual accolades. They can have their top 10 offenses. We win football by biting off kneecaps the Dan Campbell way, playing outstanding defense, and it starts with a nice little divisional matchup here. Detroit versus Minnesota. I don't know if this is the first time we've had a bye or not, but feels good. Feels good not having that extra game to, like, I don't know when our next year 3 is going to happen. If you watch enough of my rebuild content, you know year 3 is just literally unpredictable. My team right now would lose to like an 8-9 team in year 3 sometimes. I don't know when that, like, it's clearly not year 6. And honestly, year 3 in this rebuild, we won. Actually, that's not true. Year 3 in this rebuild was year 2 in this rebuild. Not getting too confusing, but I had to sim like that first year before I started recording to catch us up. We actually went 5-12. Was our last bad year. So like maybe we already burned that mulligan. And we're gonna be great. So we beat the Minnesota Vikings 27-24, setting up a matchup against Seattle. I feel like we've met a lot of times in the playoffs, especially last year. Until I see someone otherwise, I don't care what you got. 91 offense, don't care. We have a 99 offense. Oh, you think you have a pretty good defense? It's not better than mine. I have the #1 defense. We win big-time games. We are looking for our 5th straight Super Bowl appearance, and we kick the shit out of the Seattle Seahawks. But unfortunately, we win the right to go take on Kansas City, which is, hey, there's going to be your test. Unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, #1 ranked defense of the Detroit Lions. This is going to be an incredible matchup between playbook cheese and my roster building cheese. Mahomes is S tier, but my team is S tier. 96 overall. Detroit Lions, we need that 4th Super Bowl. And I've kind of highlighted the last couple Super Sims. Like, I don't really like, I don't want to hop in. I want my as less control on the game as but I'll tell you what, if we ever have to play a championship game that I hop in against the Cowboys or the Bucks, or a Super Bowl against the Chiefs, I have no guilty conscience whatsoever about hopping in because I know truly what we are going up against. And I feel like the only way to combat it is to do my own damn thing. So first period of play, touchdowns for both teams. They score, we score. It's 3rd down. I don't want them to hold us to a field goal, so we'll hop in right now on 3rd and 5. Nice little slants. Let's get a $500 million slant. My $400 million quarterback to my $100 million wide receiver. Actually gets blocked up pretty well. We're gonna scramble. He got wheels, man. Watch it. He got like low 80 speed. He could get out. He could do the thing. He's sneaky athletic. All those tropes. He has it in spades. Defense gets a stop. But of course, too little, too late. That's usually been a tell. That was a tell in older Maddens. It's not as prevalent, I don't think, personally, in Madden 23. But the older Maddens, Super Sim, they would always score at the end of the 1st and 2nd half. If you give them any time, they are scoring. But luckily, hey, I remember my offense is 99 overall. And you know who's not 99 overall? The Chiefs defense. So I think anytime we do hop in, there's going to be definitely a level of confidence. And I like the fact that I'm getting tutties, but the Sim's also getting tutties. Look at this. We just go right down the field, 35-35. Does feel like a game that whoever has the ball last could go win it. And it's going to overtime. Okay, I'm going to come in right now. That was too risky. I literally saw my life flash before my eyes and thought they were going to kick a field goal and win it. So now that they've given us a chance, which they absolutely shouldn't have, we're going to send Williams down deep. Washington has like 97 throw power. Got to remember that. If he can just beat his man, we are going to throw it to where only a 99 speed wide receiver can get it. You put no safety over top on the fastest player in the league with a biggest arm quarterback in the league. And what that yields is Super Bowl win #4. We are officially halfway to our goal. It's only 7 years. I'll be honest, in my notebook right now where I'm just keeping track of everything, I have it up to year 20. I thought this was going to be 20 years, maybe not minimum, but I was like, it's probably going to take me 20 years to win 7 Super Bowls. The fact that we're at 4 Super Bowls, oh shit, they get the ball. Doesn't matter, my #1 defense. They don't care about the new rules. Let's go. Got a little head there. I didn't think we'd be at 4 at 7 years, but I also didn't think my team would be 99 offense, 96 overall after 7 years. I think a lot of part of that comes down to the fact that we've drafted incredibly well. We've drafted a franchise quarterback. We have been able to maintain and make smart roster decisions for the most part, but I do think here on out, now that we have a $400 million quarterback, those roster decisions are going to get pretty tough. I think the fairest way, without just rambling nonsense, to describe how I feel like for the remainder of this little bit of a window that we have with our squad is like, I think this is the highest overall our team's going to be. We're only going to go down for the most part, given the fact that, like, you know, we have regression. We're not going to be able to sign anybody in free agency. We're going to just also not be able to afford all of our own free agents, which for the most part we've been able to do. So I'm enjoying the fact that we're at 4, but I do think these next 3 are going to be our most difficult. I'm going to try my best. I already know I'm going to forget at point in time, but anytime we lose a guy that's been a big player for us, I always want to try to highlight them. Kirby Joseph, he ends his time here in Detroit with 500 tackles, 12 interceptions. Was awesome for us for the most part. And we actually don't have to manufacture a storyline. We need to hire a new offensive coordinator. We got 2. I don't necessarily think Minnesota's playbook is what we want. The pistol playbook. Would that work? That'd be, there's no way. I've never heard. So I guess we're going to go Jim Allen. And honestly, I'm going to switch to the Minnesota Vikings playbook and just see if that does anything. I'm not even looking at free agency. Can't afford it. But I will pick up the 5th-year option on our franchise left tackle, Bennett. Very good player. I think, honestly, at the end of this year, probably be above a 90 overall. You don't let those guys walk. So for this draft, we are looking for our Kirby Joseph replacement. And I've done my homework. It looks like a solid safety class. Top tier safeties aren't brutal, like Tavares Thompson here, double B, double C. But the guy that caught my eye was Shaquille Downs. Scouted him, A, hit power, B, zone coverage. Not too worried about the man. He's clearly just a guy that's going to thrive in zone. It's not going to be, complete. But combine looks great. A, hit power. Sometimes these guys are just terrifying. Dev trade or not, he's probably going to start for us. He's probably going to be like 74, 75. He's got to start. I think he's going to be in prime position to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, which then would yield a dev trade. We're going to go back to the well for the linebacker here, just in case. Danny Nash, A zone, B tackle, first in the 40-yard dash, first in the vert, first in the broad, first in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle. Yeah, that'll do. And look at our draft recap. Shaquille Downs, while only a normal dev, still pops with a 77 overall rating, which is more than fine by me. That's good for a day 1 starter. Danny Nash, the freak athlete at linebacker, did pop with a hidden dev, and he's a 74. So that's some really nice depth to have. Kind of similar with the rest of the picks. Did want to target a kicker and get a nice roll here with RJ Banks, 72 overall rookie kicker. So we're hopefully going to not see much drop off on our special teams, and hopefully Downs can fill the massive shoes left by Kirby Joseph. Despite winning our 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, we did face some regression as Knox, our X-Factor tight end, is now down to superstar. St. Brown lost his superstar. He is down to star, but I think that's also just to do with his regression a little bit. He's getting up there in age. Defense still remains strong. Jack Campbell, a little late resurgence, back up to a superstar, leading the defense. Green dot on his helmet, all of that. It's year 8. It's time to start the chase for Super Bowl number 5 of 7. Let's go do it. Year 8, we start out hot. Vikings are actually pretty good, but I like the fact we did change to the Vikings offense, and we got a top 10 offense now. Our offense underperformed last year, so it seems like a good change so far. But let's look at some contracts, salary caps. Definitely not going to be what it once was. And this is the doomsday that I was talking about. At least there's not a lot of big-time names, but we have Jameson Williams and Frank Ragnow, both set to be bouncing. And we can only really offer one. We'll throw some money at Jameson Williams, get him to sign, but we're going to let the veteran Frank Ragnow. Let's just hope we can get another Super Bowl and he retires off to the sunset and don't want to watch him play for another team beyond his prime. And it's pretty much copy and paste from year 7 here now to year 8, back-to-back 15-2 seasons. We had the change to the Minnesota Vikings offense, and look at what that yielded for us. Now we're number 6 offense. We went from, what were we last year, 20th? So that's good. Jump up. We had 29 touchdowns last year for our quarterback, up to 35, only 4 interceptions. So he's playing like S-tier Kirk Cousins, which you can only hope. Rushing attack, yards aren't there, but the touchdowns sure are. So I'm not going to complain about either one of those. 1,300 yards, 9 tutties for St. Brown, 13 and 15 for Johnny Dell. Maybe we didn't need to pay Jameson Williams. Whew. Okay. Actually, kind of regret that because we have 0 budget now that we kept Jameson Williams. But you know what Jameson Williams still brings? You know? That home run ability. In case we ever had to hop in on the sticks, he's a go-to guy down deep. If we need a shot play, both Rodrigo and Jack Campbell go over 100 tackles. 22 sacks, Shane Hutchinson, 20 for McKinney. Definitely a big reason why this team's doing. Brittingham, the free agent that we signed 2 years ago to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, led the team with 5 picks. I don't know if you guys are picking up that thunder in the background. Holy shit, that's loud. MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence on the Cardinals now. Really interesting. Washington coming in at number 8, looking for some Detroit Lions. Terrell McKinley is Defensive Player of the Year. 8 Hutchinson at 2, so like that is the face of our team right now. We are playing and biting kneecaps. Sewell gets Lineman of the Year. Love to see it. McKinney, D Lineman of the Year. I mean, they're already X Factor, so it's not like there's a lot of room for them to grow, but that's dubs all around. And we get to kick our feet up now for the first round bye. And the first round starts against a team that is shaking in their boots. 10 overall points difference. This should be a game that we win by 20. We win it by 30. Let's go. 42-13. But look at this matchup. It's Seattle again, who's been very good, but we've been able to own them. But the battle of 15-2, 15-2. The records are fine and dandy, but you obviously, maybe they had a cupcake schedule. Look at the teams. It is the Seattle has number 1 offense, number 6 defense. We have number 6 offense, number 1 defense. And they always say a good defense beats a good offense. I don't know how true that is with the NFL. Look at that ass kicking. 52-28. 3 interceptions, Anthony Richardson. It's the defense that stands on its head. Sheldon, our backup running back, had 4 touchdowns. God damn. Getting a little bit of that Minnesota 2-headed attack. Defensively, no sacks to be said, but Brian Branch, Nash, and Farley all with 3 picks. And like that, that is Super Bowl number 6 in a row. And the Super Bowl is set between us and the 11-6 Buffalo Bills. 86 overall against 95 overall. I mean, are we shocked that we are on a hell of a run right now? Our team this is the best team I've ever had in a rebuild. So we go into year 8 looking for Super Bowl number 5. But again, it's not so much, oh my God, they've won. If we win this 5 Super Bowls in 8 years. Because 5's not the goal. 7 is the goal. And we're already seeing I have no salary cap. So the wheels are falling off from here on out. I truly think, and I've been saying it the last couple, but I think this is going to be the last year that it's like expected we need to win the Super Bowl. I think from here on out, the difficulty is going to rise. But it's a very favorable matchup. Let's get that Super Bowl number 5. They still got old man Josh Allen doing the thing. He got to be getting up there right now. And obviously not a lot of Super Bowl success. So, we talk about it like it's in soccer, more of a soccer trope, but like they call it the golden generation. It's like, this is this country's golden generation. They need to go on and do this in the World Cup, this in the Euros. The Josh Allen era is like the golden generation now for the Buffalo Bills. The new golden generation since the Jim Kelly era. And the fact that they have no Super Bowls to show for it, got to be a little worrisome. Because now Josh Allen's, probably 35, 36, near the end of his career. And you're coming up against an absolute buzzsaw of a squad here in our Detroit Lions. 21-16, going down the field, trying to kill the game off. Nail the field goal. They go for it on 4. I mean, you're just not beating our defense, man. You are not beating this team. That's my only kind of good thing. It does seem like when push comes to shove, we're going to be losing more pieces on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. And the defense has been our ace of the hole. McKinley and Aiden Hutchinson are absolutely unstoppable. And I think we're going to have to give some credit to the change to the Minnesota Vikings offense. I think that elevated Washington at the quarterback spot. But I think push comes to shove, the star of the show is our defense. The fact that we have 2 defensive ends that can get 20 sacks at will, seemingly, and they don't look like they're dropping off. They're only playing better. It's like a chase between the both of them. It's a race, and they're chasing one another, and the finish line is Super Bowl number 7. So hopefully that keeps on keeping on. Maybe we can crack this out here before year 10. 10 years, 7 Super Bowls. That'd be pretty cool. But not to sound like a broken record, I think we're getting ready this next offseason. We're going to start feeling the budget restraints. But 24-16, Super Bowl number 5 for the Detroit Lions. 2 more to go. All right, looks like we're going to change playbooks again. Our OC went on and got a head coaching job, and it's the only guy here is this fucking pistol guy. Who the hell runs a pistol offense? Gonna go to college? I like to highlight all of our players that are leaving. Frank Ragnow, end of an era, 9 Pro Bowl appearances in 13 seasons for the Lions, a Lions legend. But with the loss of Ragnow, we had Hobson here as a depth guard for a minute, and it's Madden, so we're gonna take a little bit of liberties here. We're gonna slide him into center, so now we have a 77 star dev center, and looking at our roster, Dell gained a superstar dev, which is huge. I don't know how Washington lost a dev trait. I don't know how Knox lost it. How are these guys? How are we just losing devs left, right, and center? Unjust. We're winning Super Bowl. They're just like, okay, well, you know what? We still got Hutchinson. We still got McKinley. Rodriguez lost his dev. I think that's more of an age thing. He's 32. So, that does just happen. You can't outrun Father Time. And we did get a new X Factor on the defense in Brittingham. What a signing that was. Kind of under the radar. He was very affordable. And he's developed into a great player for us. So for this draft, we're pretty much in BPA. Don't really have to replace anything. Luckily, we're able to make that slide with the center. And I do have a clear target right now, which is Derek Frazier at defensive tackle. 6'6", 317, 8 tackles, C's across the board, but a very good athlete. Not the best combine, not the best stats, but there comes a point in time where you're picking 32. You're picking 32 a lot. And when you pick 32 a lot, Hitchens actually looks really nice here at safety. But we just drafted a safety. I don't want to double dip there. We don't really need anything at skill position spots. Don't really need any wideouts. That guy actually looks Bryce money. Ooh, my God. I might need to get this guy. I just literally picked up the option on my wide receiver Dell, who's superstar. We paid Jameson Wayne, so we can't do that. Can't within good conscience. Look at the offensive line. There's no one that's going like that guy there is the guy we need to get. There's some solid players. Maybe we can get someone to fall to us a little bit. So I think when all is said and done, we'll go with the one that has an A. And what's this? Espinoza. Triple B and a C. 6'2". Comment actually is pretty good as well. But you know what? I always go. It's almost like corners. When I see a 6'6" D tackle, I'm always interested. And Derek Frazier looks awesome. Another real BPA is Denzel Weaver. B run block, A impact block, and really good combine numbers. Top 2 and pretty much everything you need to look for. So we're going to add some depth here on the offensive line. No dev, but I think he's going to be a decent rating. How does a 93 overall team get better? Well, you get a 76 and a 75 to start your draft. Even with the normal dev, Weaver, that's good depth. I don't have to really worry about him losing a dev trait because he's just not going to play yet. And Frazier at 76, that could be the future at the D-tackle spot for this line squad. It's contract time here in year 9. And, we're good. Not, slipping record-wise, just a little bit, 6-3. We already have more losses than we've had the last 2 regular seasons, but that's fine because we're still really good and we're still front-runners within the division. Looking at contracts, we have $61 million of available cap, so we're going to offer a 4-year deal to Sewell. He wants more than 4 years. All right, we got Aiden Hutchinson. What about 3 years for you, sir? Got him locked in. He's arguably the most important, valuable player on the squad. Got to make a decision here. We got... Can I even offer him 45 mil? What's he looking for? 46. Oh, this is quite the tough call here. I'm going to say we want to keep the tackles. Even then, there's not a lot of interest there. So I'm thinking, shit, I don't know. I gave Sewell one more year, 5-year deal. He signs on the dotted line. I don't know how we can necessarily make this ground to get this. Like, this is probably the best offer we can offer, and I don't think he's going to accept. He does. So we go and prioritize the offensive line, which means Brittingham, who's just been here for a short time, is going to bounce, and it will be the end of 2023 draft pick Jack Campbell. So we'll see his stats at the end of the year as we send him off. Thank him for his service. At the end of year 9, aka the 2031 season, the Detroit Lions go 13-4, winning the NFC North. So a little bit of a drop off considering last 2 seasons we've had 15-2 records. 13-4 is still pretty good. 95 overall squad. But what's interesting to me is the breakout of our quarterback. Now, yards are good, top 10, but he had 47 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. As you saw at the beginning of this season, we did have to hire new offensive coordinators running the pistol offense, but I still just have the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, and we got easily the best year out of our quarterback. 2 years removed from him only getting 29 touchdowns. He dropped 47. So he's definitely, if I have a quarterback that I'm paying $300 million, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And I'll be awesome to see if he gets that MVP. But at worst, he got regressed down to a star depth, which is disrespectful. Should get up that to a superstar after this. 1,000 yards for Bradshaw. Huge year for Amon-Ra St. Brown. 110 catches, 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns. 1,009 for Jameson Williams. 9-10 for Johnny Dell. 7-7 for Glenn Knox. Defensively, Jack Campbell in his final season here in Detroit puts up 100 tackles again. We got 19 sacks, Hutchinson, 14 from McKinley, and my nose tackle. Just imagine Vita Vea, 11.5 sacks is crazy. 7.5 from the rookie, Derek Frazier, who popped with a star dev. That D-line is firing on all cylinders. 6 picks, Brian Branch. 4 from something known as a Monte Purnell. Sure, a little bit of a breakout there, but Brian Branch, 6 picks. Love seeing that. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence, beating out Mark Washington. The disrespect. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Offensive Player of the Year. He's also regressed down to a starter, so I do think we are going to see a couple players with dev traits go in the right direction. Derek Frazier, our star dev defensive tackle, got Rookie of the Year, so that could be a potential boost up to a superstar. So I think we're going to get a couple Goldie boys at the end of the season, which is going to be huge for this squad. Brian Branch, DB of the Year. This pretty weird going into year 9 of a rebuild. Year 9 is when your players have their best numbers, their breakout years. But just kind of closing here right now before I forget, Jack Campbell in his career with the Detroit Lions finishes with 1,058 tackles, 39 TFLs, 13.5 sacks, 17 interceptions. I'm going to assume that he made the Pro Bowl a couple times. Not once. The disrespect. So we kick out the first round of the playoffs against a team that we have absolutely owned, and we're looking to make it 7 straight Super Bowls in a row. We kick off the first round, defeating Seattle 28-21. I literally think we're 4-0 in the playoffs against the Seahawks. They must be disgusted seeing us. Next up, we have the 9-8 Philadelphia Eagles, a team that we are 11 points better, but sometimes it's not on paper, and we handle business. And it sets up a conference championship game between the 2 best teams. Trevor Lawrence, who had 52 touchdowns. Holy shit. Number 1 offense, number 2 offense. Number 1 defense. They have one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. But when Trevor Lawrence and the offense is playing that well, you never know. Especially if he gets ugly and gets into a shootout. And oh my God, this team, baby. The quest for 6. They know that I'm on day 3 of recording this video. C4, we're going to get you those 2 Super Bowls so you can upload that here today. Trevor Lawrence was unstoppable. 383 yards, 5 touchdowns, but Washington stuck with it. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. We were also assisted by a couple rushing touchdowns here. Their big game. Amon-Ra St. Brown is on fire. Going nuclear this year. 3 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson. McKinley with 1. Again, it's just we have such a good team that, again, we're making very tough roster decisions. We're letting the last 2-3 seasons guys that are 85, 90 overalls have to walk, and we're still able to find a way to maintain a high level. And this looks as good as you could ask. Our team's regressed somehow. How have we regressed? Our team was a 95 overall at the end of the season. Now we're a 94 overall. But anytime you're going up against a team that's 9-8 in the Super Bowl, you gotta feel kind of confident. They have the number 9 offense, number 19 defense. This is as good a year as any to win number 6 in our quest for 7. Let's go, baby. This is our game. We have made it to 7 straight Super Bowls, a level of dominance that is never before seen, but we started with 0. We need to end with 7. 14-7 is the score right now. Would love for back-to-back Super Bowls just to be straight up sim, which just proves that my team is deserving of such, and it's not just C4 hopping on the sticks because I'm the best player of Madden on YouTube. We have a 7-point lead here in the third quarter. Buffalo's not going away, though. They're keeping this game competitive, getting some stops on the defensive side, settle for a field goal. They got a safety. We really need a touchdown here, fellas. Yes, we get it. 31-22. That should be it. And it's almost anticlimactic at this point because we've won 5 in a row. 6 of 7 Super Bowls have been Detroit Lions. And we're almost waiting for the wheels to fall off here and go on like a 3-year cold streak as we seek for that illustrious 7th Super Bowl. But with this victory here today, we have now equaled any other franchise has ever done. I think, who do we got? We have the Patriots, the Steelers. Are those the only 2 with 6? My apologies if I'm absolutely blank. I know like Dallas got a couple, 49ers got a couple. But we are now equal to the all-time record, 6 Super Bowls. Can we make it 7 in the 10th year of this rebuild? Let's find out. Also on top of Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez is also coming to that point in time where we need to bid him adieu. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's probably up around 800 tackles. He's had a nice career, long career, but obviously he got phased out this season. Thank you for your service. Now, I wish I would be at a point right now where I could be like looking through free agency, because at this point, there's gonna be like just a lot of guys that are like the generated players, like something like this, Raekwon Patton. We have no money. We have $16 million, and we've won our 6 Super Bowls by prioritizing retaining our talent and trusting where I'm going to be able to get better is through the draft. That has worked out so far. So I'm not really going to change it up right now, even though there is the pressure of like, well, maybe if I just sign a guy or two, spend all of our cap this year to go and get that 7th Super Bowl. Let's make year 10 the final year of this video. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're due to lose. And if we go into a position where we go all in a given offseason, it's going to burn us the next season if we don't win that Super Bowl, because then we're going to just take massive steps back. So I just kind of think keeping with the same strategy that we've had for this entire rebuild is what is going to get us that 7th ring. So for this draft, linebacker is our top priority as we've lost Malcolm Rodriguez and Jack Campbell. And we didn't get the best role, to be honest with you. Like, there's no clear-cut middle linebacker. We got like an A zone coverage, but double D's, and not the good kind of double D's, you know what I mean? So I think someone like Adam Nelson, 3 A's and a B, seems like a slam dunk. Athletically speaking, not the best, but at worst, he's going to be like probably like a mid-70s with normal dev. That can work. That can be a nice placeholder. And here's one of the best roles we've got in a while. I would love to just get value, but literally I don't like any of the other board. I scouted wide receivers this year because I was like, all right, it's only going to matter of time. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. One of those guys is going to have to get tossed. So we kind of just went through all the different players here. Got a clear picture based off of Combine. But I was like, all right, we'll probably grab a wide receiver late. Look what I found here. Day 3 with top 5 talent. Antonio Forbes, slot wide receiver. He had A catching. And as soon as I saw all the elites, I was like, we got to explore this guy a little bit. I was expecting when I saw that, like a first, second rounder, guys probably get like 74 normal. Top 5, day 3 projection. That is one of the best values I've ever seen. And leave it to come in year 10 of a rebuild to find someone like this. So we finished the draft. Adam Nelson, 74 normal. We got Antonio Forbes, 78 hidden dev, top 5 player in the class. Got a 72 center, another 70+ wide receiver. Burner out of my Florida Gators. Great draft. Let's go get that 7th ring. And now that we're in year 10, another good thing is we're back up. Our players had great seasons. Washington back up to a superstar. Amon-Ra St. Brown back up to a superstar. We did lose the superstar on Dell, but it's still working out. Forbes got his dev trade unveiled as a star, but I mean, we got a lot of depth. Maybe the most depth we've had so far at the wide receiver room in this rebuild. So that's great. Offensive line is outstanding. Sewell in the 99 club. We have Knox in the 99 club. Defensively, we got the double X factor still between Hutchinson and McKinney. Brian Branch, after winning DB of the year, is up to a superstar. So our corner room looks nice. I did just have to sign Jalen Petrie off the street because we needed a strong safety. Couldn't find one in the draft. So we got the very nice playmaker, formerly of the Baylor Bears and Houston Texans. And the linebacking core went over a massive shift, but still, I think the Raiders are solid. Rookie Nelson, 75, 77 for Edwards, 82 star for Nash. Serviceable. I think serviceable is fair. Actually, Frazier as well, our first round pick last year, was a star dev, got superstar for winning defensive rookie of the year. So a little bit of trade-off, a little worried about the back end here. Not as strong as it has been, but I still think overall, what's our team overall? 93? 91. Ooh, okay. This is the big step back. This is going to be a tough year. But off to an awesome start, 5-2. And while we're here, we'll talk about this little breakout, especially for our linebacking room. This is where we need some guys to break out. 2 of our 3 starters are on normal depth, so we'll see what happens here against the Saints if our middle linebacker can get a star dev and take his development to the next level. I think he's 25, 26 years old, so still not too early to hit a dev. We beat the Saints. However, a little bit of a wet fart there. He did not earn his dev trade. Let's look at some contracts. Again, now we're operating on almost a year-to-year basis. We got McKinley. He needs to get paid. 3 years. Get it? I mean, again, arguably one of our most important players. After that, I mean, Stevenson's a backup tight end. Caps, not, that's kind of expensive. Probably could draft his replacement. Running back, 91. Again, barely getting 1,000 yards, not overly, And Dell, we have depth at wide receiver, even though he's youngest of the bunch. I think you make the argument Brian Branch is our most important player here. And he's also going to be probably at this point the most difficult to re-sign. 2 years. Hey, we got him a shot on the dotted line. Brian Branch is a lifer. But, I mean, losing our wide receiver 2, starting running back, starting guard, backup tight end, that's still probably a starter on most teams in the NFL. Starting middle linebacker. We're getting stretched thin. At the end of the 2032 season, aka year 10, we go 13-4 again, very similar to what we had last season, and win another NFC North title. Did not get the bye, man. Byes have been few and far between for a team that we've averaged 13 wins a season for the last 7 years. I think we got 1, 2 first round byes, so they're very tough to come by. And anytime you throw that extra game, and even though we've been winning a lot, you'd rather just the easiest, safest way to another Super Bowl title. Great year out of Mark Washington, 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns, only 9 picks, 11-11 from Bradshaw, 1,500 yards, 19 to Alvin Ross, a legend, absolute legend. 12-9 for Jameson Williams, 9-5 for Johnny Dell, who we are letting walk. Decent year from Knox, but I mean, if we lose Dell, I'm definitely hoping that Glenn Knox, 99 overall tight end, can kind of step up and be that guy that also pushes 1,000 yards receiving going forward. Danny Nash goes over 100 tackles, did have 4 interceptions as well. 24 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson, 21 for Terrell McKinley, 10.5 for Tony Hamlin. Gotta wonder. Brian Branch, 5 picks. Gotta wonder, man. I'm gonna assume that the sack record has been broken, but that would have broken the sack record if we started this out right away. Let's just see where that puts him. He's definitely on the list. Well, yeah, obviously the sack record's been blown out. Brian Burns had 33. That's disgusting. But hey, look, Aiden Hutchinson with a respectable 24 up there on the list, passing the greats of Justin Houston, Jared Allen, and Michael Strahan. Anthony Richard of the Seattle Seahawks wins the MVP. Washington coming in at number 5. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aiden Hutchinson because, of course, he's an absolute unstoppable juggernaut of a monster who also wins Best D Lineman, and his partner McKinley right there for both awards, Defensive Player of the Year and D Lineman of the Year. That is just how damn good that combo is. And let's start our journey here on another Super Bowl, looking for 8 straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Looking for 8 straight. We handle business against the Rams 24-10. Up next, the 11-6 New York Football Giants, 37-30. It is the championship game. 14-3 MVP led Anthony Richardson Seahawks against a team that's literally beat them every year. Is this? I'm almost pulling for the Seahawks. They did it. Oh my, we finally lose in like meaningful. Like we haven't been meeting Seattle in the first round. We've been meeting them in the championship game like at least 3 years, and we've been owning them, and finally they get one over on the big dogs. The streak comes to an end, and I think we just, at this point, just got to give full kudos. Anthony Richardson, they got us, man. They got us. We got to come back for year 11. So we have to fill our staff here. I will say the Seattle Seahawks beat the Chiefs 52-10 in the Super Bowl. So no one was really stopping them. But we have to hire a new offensive coordinator. And you know what? Just out of entertainment's sake, we'll change the playbook to the Buffalo Bills. Still hope we have our quarterback going for 40 touchdowns, which we've had in back-to-back seasons under the Minnesota Vikings offense. But got a new OC. Let's embrace his new ideas. And with only $4 million available to spend, we can't sign anybody, unfortunately. Just getting a quick recap of our squad. I actually had to do this for myself going into the draft. We need a running back. That is definitely our biggest need, as St. Brown and Washington both are X factors right now. And what we're going to do is go ahead and knock off that stupid ability for Washington. We're going to give him something that's... give him dots, I guess. He feels like a dots quarterback. But we got two X factors on offense. That's been probably one thing I've seen kind of against this offense, is that like at times St. Brown's been an X factor, Knox was drafted as an X factor, but we've never really had the three max X factors on the offense. I mean, we still don't, but we've never, you know, for the amount of success we've had, we definitely haven't done it with a lot of X factors. Hutchinson, McKinley, and Branch are all X factors. D-line is good. Linebacking core, we need a middle linebacker. We need a strong safety. So running back, middle linebacker, strong safety. Arguably the three least valuable positions in the NFL are what we need to find new starters for in this draft. So running back, linebacker, and safety are the three positions that I want to focus on this year. And there's some nice running backs. Mateo Colon looks nice. Addison Swan is probably my favorite of the running backs. But there's a running back that I found deep. It might only be a normal dev, but the stats look pretty good. And that's Kerry Garland, the power back. 3 A's. And it's a scheme fit, and his combine's not brutal. That's going to be our running back pick. We'll get that third round or whatever. Linebacker, it's a weak linebacker class. Wasn't a lot of linebackers that screamed, come get me. Luke Bailey's probably the best of the bunch. And even then, just double B's and an A. Almost always want to look for that A zone coverage. The drop-off is kind of big. Good draft for safeties, however. So I'm thinking when you're looking at the top safeties, it's probably going to be Donovan McCollum I mean, you got Joey Galvin here, Josh Drummond, but I more so want like a ball hawk. We got the 3 Bs here. Not in love with the fact that his man coverage kind of sucks. Combine is still the best of the safeties that are here. Second in the 40-yard dash, second in the 20-yard shuttle, top 5 in the 3-cone drill. So I think we start with McCollum. Maybe pull the trigger on the running back next round and just maybe get a free agent, cheap free agent to cover at linebacker. I feel like we can keep waiting on the running back. So just because we've been talking about the 3 positions, we do have Thurman Randall has 3 Bs. So at worst, he might not have a dev trait because athletically speaking, he's not the best, but he just adds some nice depth to the linebacker. He might be like 71. Give him a chance, see what he can do. Lastly, to make my favorite pick of the draft, please have a dev trait. Please have a dev trait. Let's go, Kerry Garland out of Michigan. This guy's going to be a monster. And looking at our draft recap, Donovan McCollum, 77 hidden dev. Oh my God, dude, we got baited. How does someone that pops 3 Bs and wasn't a horrific athlete, 63? Holy shit. In a rebuild where, generally speaking, I have crushed the draft. That is a big time. That's like an all-time miss for me in a rebuild. Luckily, made up for it with Garland, absolute value pick. Also, local Michigan guy. You know this guy used to love watching Home Improvement. You know what I'm saying? Ha ha ha. Let's go, Kerry Garland. Damn, just as our team starts to show some cracks in the Elite Armor, we're 6-0, sitting atop the NFC North. A chance to go, I mean, our best record's 15-2. We might have a chance of beating it. We have $59 million. So we're going to start Amon-Ra St. Brown, absolute he wants to retire here, which I have no issues doing so. You run your lineman into the ground, so we'll get Ruggs on a 3-year deal. He's one of the best guards in the NFL. All right, definitely have some decisions here again to make. Okay, no way we're paying Danny Nash $90 million. No way I'm paying Shaquille Downs normal dev, even though he's great, $77 million. This is not fun. Yeah, I mean, I think we pay. This is like the first year where what I'm looking at. It's like, fuck, let's win. Let's win this Super Bowl, because this is, we're gonna get St. Brown, but we're gonna be losing a 91 D tackle, 90 corner, 87 corner, 86 safety, 85 linebacker, 81 center. I maybe could bring back the center if I want. Even then, he's like, that's kind of replaceable. So this is honestly the first year that it's like, I don't want to see what next season is gonna look like. You know what? Hamlin's been sick. Anytime you get a nose tackle, it's getting like almost double digit sacks every year. We'll sign him on 1 year and just completely rebuild the secondary in the draft. So the change to the Bills playbook, it's crushed our rushing offense, which is fine, but our passing offense, elite, number 2. We the number 6 offense, number 2 defense in the NFL, 14-3, winning the NFC North and securing the first round bye. Almost choked it that Week 18 loss against Minnesota. I thought that would cost us. Did not. Mark Washington, ooh yeah. 5,200 yards, 45 touchdowns, 9 picks, playing the best football of his career. And I can only imagine what Amon-Ra St. Brown did. Decent year to Garland, the rookie. Didn't get 1,000 yards, but 15 touchdowns. That combined, that's a great rookie season. Honestly, might even have him win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, just ridiculous. 1,700 yards, 15 touchdowns, 12-8 for Jameson Williams, 1,008 for Forbes, 650 and 11 for Glenn Knox. Defensively, Nash, McCollum, and Farley all going over 100 tackles. Farley having his breakout season, of course, as soon as I can't afford to pay him. 25.5 sacks for Terrell McKinley. What a freak. 13.5 from Aiden Hutchinson. And he tops. Like, you know, again, I said this whole time, it's a chase. McKinley and Aiden Hutchinson are racing each other for production and stats. And it was McKinley's time. What a freak of freaking nature. And the interceptions look great. 5 picks, D. Farley, 3 from Amari Sheldon. But again, very annoying that the times that my corners finally start getting good production, can't pay him. Mark Washington wins the MVP award. Deserved. Probably should have won it a year before. Amon-Ra St. Brown, runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Terrell McKinley, Defensive Player of the Year. Kerry Gardland, Offensive Rookie of the Year. McCollum almost got Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is just domination from the Detroit Lions. Runner-up St. Brown. We got Terrell McKinley, D lineman of the year. Farley was runner-up for DB of the year. Actually, I'm kind of happy that didn't happen, because if he went up superstar dev, it would just sting that much more, knowing that I can't re-sign him. But you can make the argument, even though it's not our best record, we've had 15-2 win seasons. This 14-3 season, here in, I don't even know what year, 2032, 2033, might be our best yet. And now it kicks off in the divisional round against Bijan Robinson and the 10-7 49ers. And the 2033 divisional playoff matchup goes to the good guys. 31-14. 49ers make it. Now we are in. Honestly, it's the rivalry that's, I think, out of all the games, this is the rivalry of this rebuild. Us and these damn Seattle Seahawks led by Anthony Richardson. I think last year we were like, you know what? They finally got us. This year, our quarterback is playing on another level. We have the MVP for a reason. He's unstoppable. Amon-Ra St. Brown's unstoppable. And we get the win to, ooh, that is not an easy assignment in the Super Bowl. But that's the Super Bowl we're going to go for. Because I'm terrified of, I don't want to do next season. I don't want to have this depleted team. Rebuilds like this shouldn't go this long. And honestly, Anthony Richardson outplayed our quarterback. I think when all is said and done, maybe our defense is what gave us the big advantage here. I'm going to assume second half, Aiden Hudson, sack from Terrell McKinley. Yeah, I mean, just close matchup. We kept it ugly. Holding a high-scoring offense like that to 19 points is very good, and it sets up a Super Bowl matchup. The best team in the NFC, the cheesy, overpowered team in the AFC, a chance for the 7th Super Bowl championship for Detroit, a chance to make the Detroit Lions the most successful organization in NFL history, and only thing standing our way is the hardest team you could possibly face. Honestly, might be the last hurrah for Patrick Mahomes, 37 years old. You know, there's a lot going on live for them as well in this matchup. But if we had to have the Super Bowl for the 7th, it's the one team that I stated very early that I have no issue whatsoever hopping in and playing against, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. And when I do this rebuild, if you guys like this series and we do it for an AFC team, if we ever meet the Bucks in the finals, if we ever meet the Cowboys in the finals, those are the other two teams. Wouldn't care if I had to come in and get 8 touchdowns. I'm not letting them beat me because they're cheesy. Opening drive, Kansas City does get the first score. Looks like they're getting ready to get out ahead pretty early. So I think we'll come in here on this 3rd and 5 and try to relieve just a little bit of the pressure. We got St. Brown running a very nice route here, which should be high completion percentage. Psych, we're going to go to Jameson Williams, probably my favorite target anytime I do hop in, because even though he's an old man now, still, like Deshaun Jackson, ages gracefully, has nothing but speed. With that, the team's able to go down and get the first touchdown of the game, but I really want to see my #1 ranked defense tighten the ship up here a little bit. Feel like we're letting Mahomes and company get a loose with it. 17 points in the first half is a lot by my defensive standards. So we're going to try our best to cut this lead to 3 as we fit in the tight window to St. Brown. I think we should go no huddle. It probably will haul me out of this just because it's play of the moments. But we're going to keep going here. I'm actually going to run the football because I know a thing or two. I know that if we score early, the Chiefs are going to get more points before halftime. We need to make sure this is the final possession of the first half. Okay, we got the clock rolling here. 2nd and 5. Let's at least get this first down. Jameson Williams, we're still good. We'll go no huddle. We're still fine. Not worried about it. Honestly, let's go Kerry Garland, the power back. We still got our timeouts if this doesn't work, but the power back, 230 pounds of Detroit muscle. Who's stopping Kerry Garland? Nobody. And we did exactly what we wanted to do on that drive, and that was make sure the Detroit Lions are the last team to touch it. Opening drive of the second half. Looks like we get a turnover and a touchdown, and we got the lead in the 3rd. But our defense needs to get a stop. Oh, no. I'm going to play a little defense. I don't trust. I think this is the turning point. We can get off the field here, kill the game off, and score a touchdown and win it. It's going to be over. If we let them just do Chiefs things, that's going to be close. 4th and 1. 4th and inches. I'm going to burn a timeout now. Oh, what a tie. That was, Kelsey's retired. If that was Travis Kelce, that is most likely a first down. They're going for it? The ball's on these guys. 4th and inches. Let's go! Let's go! Okay, we got the clock rolling here now. In field goal range, no fumbles. I saw the little prompt, Kansas City. They're going to go for aggressive strips. A little worried. Anytime there's some after the fact type plays. What do the coach want to run? We don't need to be running it as much anymore. We're in timeout here. Third and 1. This is risky, but knowing that we have the field goal in hand to tie it, I think we can get him to bite on play action. And our tight end is going to be wide open, and he's 99 overall, and they just got Kelce. That's like, how was he open? How do you leave the one guy open? That's what everyone says when you play the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what just happened. It's over. It's over. Took us 11 years. We are in the year 2033. But we have done it. We have taken the Detroit Lions from 0 Super Bowls all the way to 7. They are now the most successful franchise in the history of the NFL. I definitely think we should take a little bit of a history lesson after this and just go look at some of the stats of some of our players. So I'm not going to end it right here. But I'm going to say a little bit, I don't know. I feel like maybe a little ahead of schedule. We just got in a great window. I think sometimes, for example, if we weren't able to draft this quarterback, if we weren't able to draft a superstar quarterback to replace Jared Goff, probably we don't have this amount of success this early. But the fact that we were able to handle free agency right, we drafted very well for most of this rebuild. We retained our own talent. We didn't have to spend big in free agency. A lot of things went well, when they probably won't if we do this in other teams. So I definitely want to hear what team you want to see next from a 0 to 7 Super Bowl series. Plenty of teams that don't have one. I would say right now, my only suggestion would maybe pick a team in the AFC just to switch up the conferences a little bit so it's not always like, oh, let's just play the Chiefs every other year. But 7 Super Bowls, year 11, we hit it. Outstanding. What a run. I hope any and all Detroit Lion fans watching this enjoyed this. And finishing kind of with like the final credits. Who did what? Mark Washington, the true successor. We started with, is Jared Goff the guy that's going to do what we need him to do? He wasn't. So we drafted Mark Washington out of Maryland 8 years ago. 42,000 yards, 343 touchdowns. Later, he has won a lot of Super Bowls. He is now the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history and still has plenty of years left to play. Like, I think when all is said and done, he would go down as the GOAT. He passed Tom Brady as the GOAT. We have nothing really rushing. That's kind of just been the theme in this rebuild. But shout out to Kerry Garland, Detroit muscle, big-time plays during that final Super Bowl. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,245 catches, 17,000 yards, 156 touchdowns. We have 13,000 yards and over 1,000 catches for Jamison Williams. Glenn Knox, 7,000 yards, 64 touchdowns. Incredible. On the defensive side, we have 900 tackles, 29 picks for Brian Branch. We have big-time sack numbers, 196 career sacks for Aiden Hutchinson, which, you know, stacking that up against current records puts him, what, top 5 all-time, right in line. Whether he plays one more year, he'd be the all-time sack leader in NFL history. 155 sacks for Terrell McKinley, 59.5 from nose tackle is incredible. 20 interceptions for D. Farley, 16 from Amari Sheldon. I guess kind of where would that stack? I think in terms of NFL records, Amon-Ra St. Brown might be there. He is top 5 in yards. He is top 6 in touchdowns, tied for 5th, three-way tie between Chris Godwin and Randy Moss. So definitely not bad company for St. Brown. If he played out his final contract, which is what, another 3 years, he'd be closing in on Jerry Rice. For sacks, Aiden Hutchinson just outside the top 5, but I mean, no one, Brian Burns, Myles Garrett, good guy. Those are disgusting numbers. But that's just kind of what happens when you get to this point of a Madden. Most people don't play 11 years, going on 12 seasons. But I enjoy and thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video. Definitely a different series. Garland, look at that, up to a superstar. I almost just want to keep going, but this is a perfect cutoff spot. It's taken me 3 days to record this video. But if you guys enjoy this series and you want to see more, all I'd ask in return is you leave a comment with what team you want to see next. Comments help out the old YouTube algorithm, my channel. Leave a like if you like this series. It'd be cool to hit 1,000. That's kind of a big ask at this point in the Madden season. But if you guys like this video and you want to see more of these types of rebuilds, definitely can mix them in with our retro content and stuff like that. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Your first time stopping by, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed it. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya, have a good one.